Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is arrays. Though I have not completed explaining all the details about objects, but I'm just trying to organize my contents of this particular course, or I would like to explain this particular JavaScript in such a way that should feel that this course is very easy for you, okay, to understand. So, though I'm not covering topic by topic, you see, I didn't complete the entire objects related explanation. I have not completed it. Whatever I said is only partial part of the objects. Now I'm jumping to arrays. Again, maybe later I'll be jumping to objects again. So it depends on, how I want to explain and what I want to express. It all my way of explaining the stuff for you guys to make the things easy for you to understand. Okay, it's my from my side, it is an effort for making this course as easy as possible. So don't think that I have not explained some details from the objects concepts or something. They will be covered at a right point of time. Okay. So for now, I feel we need to understand about arrays. Okay. At this right point of the course, we need to understand the right topic, that is arrays. Okay. So let's get started with the arrays. So with that note, let's begin with arrays. Again saying, I'm not going to cover arrays also in depth in this course. Whatever I want to cover, I will cover. Okay. So to make the things easy for you, I will be partially covering about arrays in this session. Okay. So let's begin with that expectation and note. So what exactly are arrays? So what exactly are arrays? Let me write down here. What exactly are arrays? Okay, using arrays in JavaScript language, okay, using arrays in JavaScript language, we can store multiple values into a single variable. Simple, okay, simple and straightforward, guys. If you want to store multiple values into a single variable, okay, if you want to store multiple values or elements into a single variable, then we have to use arrays. Okay, if you want to store multiple values, generally if I want to store multiple values, I have to write like this: let a is equal to 5, let b is equal to 10, let c is equal to 15, let d is equal to 20. Okay, generally in JavaScript, if I have to store multiple values into the variables, I have to create multiple variables, guys, and store them like this. Okay, e is equal to 30, let g is equal to 35, h is equal to 40, and so on. Okay, so for storing multiple values, I have to create multiple variables generally without arrays. Okay, without arrays, the situation will be like this. What if with the help of arrays, what I can do? I don't have to create so many number of variables. Using a single variable, I can store all these variables, multiple values or elements into a single variable with the help of arrays. Okay. The same example, if I use arrays, I'll be using like this. Okay. Let arr, I'm just giving some variable name, or you can even give a also, that's also fine. Let a is equal to, here start the square bracket. Okay. Arrays need to be represented with square brackets. Okay. So in JavaScript, we create the arrays with the square brackets. Inside the square bracket, we have to write 5 comma 10 comma 15 comma 20 comma 25 comma 30 comma 35 comma 40. So multiple values or elements I am storing into a single variable, that is nothing but arrays. Okay, variable. So this is how we need to create arrays in JavaScript. If you want to create variables, you have to create like this. If you want to create array, you have to create like this. The list of values or list of elements that you want to store into the variable, which need to be considered as array, should be, this list of elements should be surrounded by square brackets. Okay. Then a will become an array. Simple words. Okay. It's no more a variable. It's an array. Fine. Next. What's next? The next thing here about the arrays here is, there is a concept known as indexing concept. Okay. There is a concept known as indexing. concept. What is indexing? The first element that is stored into this array will be stored at the index 0. Okay? First element will be stored at the index 0. And the last element which will be stored into the array will be stored at the size of the array minus 1 is the last index of this array element. Okay, the last element of this array will be at the index size minus 1. That is, size is how much? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Total 8 elements are there. 8 is the size. 8 minus 1 is nothing but 7. So in this example, 7 is the last index and 0 is the first index. 0, first element at the index 0, second element at the index 1, third element at the index 2, fourth element at the index 3, fifth element at the index 4, and sixth element at the index 5, seventh element at the index 6, eighth element at the index 7. 0 to 7. Index will start from 0. Fine, clear, right? So, yeah, this is what is the thing, guys. Oh, if I want to access the elements of this array, I have to access like this, okay? A square bracket 0. If I say A square bracket 0, 5 will be accessed. If I say A square bracket 1, 10 will be accessible. If I give A square bracket 2, 15 will be accessible. A square bracket 3. Here, 0 is the index. A array at the index 0 is 5 value. Okay. The value or element which is stored at the index 0 of this array is 5. Okay. Index 1 is 10. Index 2 is 15. 3 is 20. A of 4, 25. A of 5, 30. This 30. A of 6, 35. A of 7, last element, that is 40. Okay. I can access the array elements like this. I can access the array elements like this, guys. Okay. So let me explain practically how to create this, how to store multiple values or elements into an array with this syntax. Okay. Practically, let me demonstrate and how to access all the elements of the array with these indexes and all. Let me cover in this session, and remaining part I'll be covering in the next sessions, guys. For now, in this session, I'll be covering only this part. Okay. The more details about the arrays I'll be covering in the upcoming sessions anyhow. So with that note, let me just, create a new file. I'll say array demo.js. So here, let me create an array. Let a is equal to the same example. I'll take 5 comma 10 comma 15 comma 5 comma 10 comma 15 comma 20 comma 25 comma 30 comma 35 comma 40. Okay. Total 8 elements are there. Okay. Total 8 elements are there. Let A is equal to 5 comma 10 comma 15 comma 20 comma 25 30 35 40. So I have stored multiple elements in a single variable with the help of this. This is nothing but an array, guys. In JavaScript, this is what is an array. A collection of values can be stored into a single variable is called as an array. Now, if I want to access this array elements, I have to access like this. Okay. A of A square bracket 0. This will access the 5. 5 will be printed. Console.log A of 1. It will access this index 1. That is 10. Console.log A of 2. 15 will be console.log A of 3. 20. Console.log A of 4. 25. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 25. A of 5. 30. Console.log A of 6. A of 6. 35. Console.log A of 7. 40. Okay. Let me run this code to see whether it is happening as if or not. And here I'll just write down node array hyphen demo.js. If I run this, you see all the elements of the array 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 got printed with these print statements. This is the way to access the different elements of the array. Okay, fine. Now, so this is one way. Is it possible for me to print this array as it is? Let's see. If I try to print this array name, what will happen? Let's see. Okay, clear. Let me print What is happening guys? The array is getting printed like this. You see, when I print this array, the array is getting printed square bracket, ending square bracket, and all the elements in the array got printed like this. But if you want to access and print the individual elements, you have to access with the help of index. If you want to print the entire array, you can print the variable, it will print. You can print the array variable, it will print the entire array here like this. Okay. So with these guys, have explained about what exactly are arrays and how to access the elements of the array and the indexing concept in the array. Okay, the indexing concept we have in the array. I have covered in this particular session, but there are many other details I need to cover about the arrays, which I'm going to cover in the next sessions. Okay, so that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is using length and for loop with arrays. This session is a continuation of the previous session where I covered about what exactly are arrays and how to access the elements from the arrays using the indexing and all. Now let's continue about arrays using length and for loop with arrays in this session. So let's get started. So what exactly are arrays? I already have covered this in the previous session. In JavaScript, using arrays, we can store multiple values or elements into a single variable. Okay, I already have covered this, what exactly are arrays and with practical demonstration in the previous session. Now, if you want to find, okay, if you want to access the elements in the array, in the previous session, I have used the indexing concept of the arrays to access all the elements of the array. Now, I'm going to use or I'm going to show you how to use traditional for loop for accessing all the elements of the array. How? Let me show you that practically. For that, I'll open this Visual Studio Code. So if you remember in the previous session, I covered about the arrays. So this is what exactly is an array that I have covered in the previous session. This code is from the previous session only, where I'm storing multiple values or elements into a single variable, which is called as an array. Okay, this is how we can create arrays in JavaScript surrounded by square brackets and all. And if I want to access all these elements of this array with the help of the index of this array elements, I have accessed all the elements of this array. For example, a of 0, array having the index 0 is the first element. Array having the index 1 is a second element, will get retrieved and printed here, right? Like that, a of 0 to a of 7, all the elements of the array, a total 8 elements are there. First element will have the index 0, that is 5 will be printed, and index 7, a of 7, the last element of the array got printed. But here, for each and every element of the array, I have used this indexing concept, right? That's correct. So what I am going to do right now here is, instead of writing this many print statements for accessing each and every element of this array, instead of printing like this, what I can do here is indexing starting with 0 to 7, right? So what I will do here is, I'll just write for loop. I'll create a for loop. I'll show you how to use the for loop for accessing all the elements of the array. Here also I'm going to use the indexing concept, but I'm not going to write all the several print statements here. Rather, I'll write the for loop, starting of the for loop, ending of the for loop. Here, let I is equal to, let's assume that I stands for index. You can give any name, any variable name like B, C, D, E, F, anything you can give. Here I'm giving I stands for iteration or something. Assume that. The first element index is 0, right? So I'll give 0. Semicolon. I less than or equal to, okay? Let I is equal to 0. I less than or equal to the size of the array minus 1. Total elements are 8. 8 minus 1 is 7, right? So I'll give 7. Okay. You see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll give 7. 0 to 7. 0 to 7 means 8 elements. Index 0 to index 7. Like that. Okay. I plus plus. Like this I'll write the code. And here I'll print out console.log a of square bracket. Here instead of manually giving a number like 0 or something, I'll just give I here. Okay. In place of I, initially I is 0, right? Initially here I is created and initialized with the value 0. 0 less than or equal to 7 is true. We'll go inside the for loop. And here I is 0, right? So A of 0 means this 5 will be printed. Then I will become 1. I plus 0 will be incremented by 1. So I will become 1. 1 less than or equal to 7. So after 5 got printed in this for loop, then I became 1. This became true. 1 less than or equal to 7 became true. We'll again go inside the for loop and A of 1, that is 10, will get printed. After the end of this, we'll go here and I plus plus, I will become 2. 2 less than or equal to 7 is true again. We'll go inside this. A of 2 is 15. 15 will be printed. Then I plus plus, I will become 3. 3 less than or equal to 7. A of 3, that is 20, will be printed. Then I will become 4. True again. 4 less than or equal to 7 is true again. We'll go inside that. A of 4 is 25, will be printed. Then I plus plus, I will become, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I will become 5. This is true again. A of 5. A of 5 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 30 will be printed. Then I will become 6. True again. 6 less than or equal to 7 is true. A of 6. A of 6 is 35. 35 will be printed. Then I'll become 7. 7 less than or equal to 7. Equal to 7 is becoming true. So A of 7 is 40. 40 will be printed. Then I will become 8. 8 less than or equal to 7 is false. 8 is neither less than 7 nor equal to 7, will come out of the for loop. So this is how all the elements of the array will be printed with the help of the traditional for loop. Okay. So here also I'm using the indexing concept. In the traditional for loop also I'm using the indexing concept to access all the elements of the array. Okay. So this is the logic. Now let me prove that all the elements of the array are getting printed here. So for that, here I'll just run the code like node array hyphen demo dot js and run it. You see all the elements of the array got printed. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay. So this is how we can print all the elements of the array. Here, tomorrow, if I add few more elements, let's say 45, 50 if I add, and if I run this code, okay, if I run this code, will all the elements of the array are getting printed or not? Let's see. Okay, I increased the number of elements in the array by 2, and here I less than or equal to 7 is still there. Now, if I run this code, you see 5 to 40 are only printing. What about 45 and 50? Are they getting printed? Up to 40 only it's getting printed because here 7 is still there. When I increase the size or number of the elements in this array, the for loop logic need to be manually changed, and we have to change it to 9 here manually, right? Have to change it manually to 9, then all the elements of the array like 50 will be printed. What if I remove last 3 elements and if I run this code, will this work? You see undefined, undefined, undefined is coming. Up to 35 only should be coming. Because I removed, right? Removed the elements. Here the logic is still 9. So I have to change it to 6 or something, then it will be okay. Manually, I need to keep changing the value of the condition here. You see, now 5 to 35 is working fine. Again, if tomorrow if I add 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, now this will not work. Okay. Up to 35 only it's printing. What about the remaining elements of the array? 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. Dynamically, I am not able to use this traditional for loop to retrieve all the elements of the array. When the size of the array changes here, this for loop is not properly working. To overcome this problem, dynamically, if you want to find the size of the array and iterate through all the elements of the array, here I cannot fix this number with 6 or 9 or 7 or something, right? What I have to do here is I need to find the size of this array. How to find the size of the array? It's very simple, guys, okay? To find the size of the array, we have to use something known as length. The name of the array is A, right? A dot length. Okay? If I say A dot length, this will find the size of the array. Okay? This will find the A dot length will find the size of the array. How many elements are there in the array? It will find. Okay? So here I'll just run this and you see the first number is nothing but a dot length got printed. That is 14 elements are there. Total 14 elements are there. So here in the for loop, what I have to write? Let I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to, okay, a dot length minus 1 I have to write. Okay. If the size of the array is 14, then the last element's index will be 14 minus 1, that is 13. So a dot length minus 1. Okay, a dot length minus 1. I less than or equal to a dot length minus 1, or you can also write I less than a dot length is also fine. If you don't want to write minus 1, you can write I is equal to 0, I less than a dot length. Okay, so if you write equal to, I have to write a dot length minus 1. If I don't want to write I less than or equal to, I less than only, if I have to write a dot length is fine. So this will find the size of the array, that is 14, and that logic I am using it here. Okay, a dot length logic will find the size of the array, that is I less than 14. I is equal to 0, I less than 14 means up to 13 only, right? I'll comment this part which is printing the size of the array. Now, no matter how many elements are there in this array, all the elements will be printed, guys. Okay, I don't have to manually change the for traditional for loop logic here with some hard coded value or something. Just give the a dot length, it will work, it's going to work fine. Okay, if I run this, you see, no matter how many elements are there till 70, 5 to 70 got printed. If I remove most of these elements, if I remove till 40 only, if I keep and run this, only up to 40 only it will be printed. You see, only up to 40. If I increase up to 50, it will work till 50 only. You see, I don't have to manually go and change the size of the array here. Okay, so this is nothing but the size of the array, guys. I less than a dot length. A dot length is the size of the array. You can write like this if you want. You can actually write like this the code. Let s is equal to, s means size of the array is equal to a dot length. Okay, like this if you write, and here I less than s you write down. Okay, that is also fine. Both the things will work, guys. Okay, or you can directly write a dot length here, or I less than s, or okay, I generally prefer directly writing a dot length here instead of creating a separate variable and writing it here. This will make more sense for me. Okay, no matter what is the size of the array, all the elements of the array will be printed with this logic. I is equal to 0, I less than a dot length is the logic using which I can retrieve all the elements of the array. I can iterate through all the elements of the array using the traditional for loop. So this is the significance of this length, how to use length and traditional for loop with arrays in JavaScript. So hope guys you understood how to use length and for loop with arrays in JavaScript. So that's all for this session. See in the next session where I'm going to continue the concepts of array with remaining other concepts of the arrays. So in this session I only covered about how to use length and traditional for loop with arrays. In the upcoming session, the remaining topics of the arrays I am going to cover in this upcoming session. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session of this course. In this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is how to use for of loop with arrays. So in the previous sessions, I covered what exactly are arrays and how to use the length and for loop, that is traditional for loop with arrays, in order to access the array elements. Now the time has come for me to explain and practically demonstrate how to use for of loop with arrays. So what is the best loop with arrays or iterable elements in JavaScript? In JavaScript, if you have to use a loop with iterable elements like arrays, the best loop that we have to use is for of loop. Apart from the traditional for loop, we can also use for of loop, and this should be preferred over the traditional for loop with arrays. So if you go still back, and there was a topic known as flow control statements. Under the flow control statements, that is, we have one category of the flow control statements like iterative or looping statements. As part of this looping statements, I've already covered in that earlier session or previous session that while loop, do while loop, traditional for loop, and later somewhere here while I was going through these sessions. In one of the session I covered for in loop with objects I covered. For in loop is generally used with objects, and the time has come for me to explain about one of the last loops. Okay. Under the iterative or looping statements, five type of looping statements are there. That is while loop, do while loop, for in loop, for out loop. Okay. And all the four loops I already covered in the previous sessions. That is while loop I covered, do while loop I covered, traditional for loop I covered, and for in loop with objects. Okay, how to use for in loop with objects, because whenever you are deal with objects, if you want to iterate with objects, right, you generally go with for in loop. Okay, now the time has come for me to explain about for of loop, because the concept is arrays. I'm covering arrays. Instead of using the traditional for loop with arrays, the best loop that you can use with arrays is for of loop, because arrays is iterable kind of item in the JavaScript. For iterable kind of items, we have to use for of loop. Okay. So once I complete this session, this topic also will be automatically completed. Okay. The pending items in this earlier topic will also be completed here, because all the loops which are part of this iterative or looping statements will be done with this session. So let's get started with this session now. Okay. So how to use for of loop with arrays is the topic. How to use for of loop with arrays. In the previous session anyhow, I covered about the arrays and how to access the elements of the arrays without using any traditional for loop, and also with using traditional for loop and length kind of stuff. But now let's go with some more. Okay, let's go with something more advanced than whatever I covered in the earlier sessions. That is, we are going to use for of loop, okay, which is more suitable with arrays, and how it is so sophisticated with arrays I'm going to cover now. Okay, for that I'll go here to the Visual Studio Code, where you see there is an array already there, and here I'm using the traditional for loop, and the traditional for loop I'm also using this length kind of stuff to find the size of the array here, and this was the logic. Now, if I have to, in place of this, if I have to use a for of loop, I have to use the same for keyword, starting of the loop, for of loop, and ending of the for of loop. And here I have to write let, okay, let, you can give something like, let I of A. A is the array. Okay, A is the array here. I is some variable you just mentioned. Then for each and every item in this array, or you can also give E for each and every array element in this array. You can give any variable name here. That's okay. Just try to print E case. Okay, that's all. You see which one is simple. This one is simple or this one is simple. Clearly, you can see that this is a winner, right? With arrays, this is a winner. For each and every element of this array, you will be iterating and printing the elements of the array. You don't have to use a length with traditional for loop and all those stuff, Let me comment this part, and let me only enable this part, and let me run this code. For that, I'll just open this terminal here, and in the terminal, let me run this code. All the elements of this array should be printed now for us. That is 5 to 50 should be printed no matter how many elements are there. Okay. Without worrying about the size or length of this array, we should be able to access all the elements of the array with this simple logic. That is for of loop logic with arrays. Okay. So here array hyphen demo dot js. You see all the elements of the array got printed, and we were successfully okay, we are successful in using this for of loop with arrays. So hope guys, you got the understanding of how to use for of loop with arrays. With this, we are done with all the type of looping statements under the flow control statements. Okay, all the looping statements got satisfied, and also this for of loop with arrays concept is also done. So that's all for this session, guys. In the next session, I'm going to cover about the different methods we can use with arrays. Okay, array methods I'm going to cover in the next session. Till then, see you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is array methods, and that too part 1. Part 1 of the array methods I'm going to start in this session. So in one of the previous sessions, I covered what exactly are arrays and how to use arrays. Now I'm going to explain and practically demonstrate different methods which are related to arrays. And this is a part 1 of the array methods topic, because I'm not going to cover all the methods related to arrays in this session. Rather, the basic methods that we can use with arrays, I'm going to cover as part of the part 1 of this. array methods topic. So let's get started with this topic right now. So here I have collected some reference notes, guys. I'll just open this and access the notes here. Okay. Once I come here, let me go. What are the list of methods I asked here, this particular prompt, and I got all these things. And I again asked one more prompt. Okay. You don't have to worry about that. But here, there are some methods that are mentioned here, the beginner methods, right? There are some beginner methods that I'm going to demonstrate in this session right now. First one is push method. Okay. These are the different methods in the JavaScript which you can use with arrays and what is the purpose and all. With practical demonstration, I'm going to cover in this session. For practical demonstration, I'm going to launch Visual Studio Code. Let me launch the Visual Studio Code, guys. Once I launch the Visual Studio Code, so let me do one thing. Here already an array related things are there. Okay, so this is array. I have removed the remaining code. We can use this as an example. Now, what I want to do here is I'll just write like to have few items only in this. Let's say one. Otherwise 9 comma 1 comma 5 comma 7. Okay, some four values I have written here, right? Now what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to show you how to use different methods which will work with arrays. Okay, what are the different methods in JavaScript you can use with arrays? One by one I'm going to demonstrate. First method is what I told you. First method is push method. Okay, push method is the first method. Using push method we can add the elements at the end of the array. Okay, so here 9157. After 7, no elements are there, right? So after 7 we'll get. Okay, before actually I print this, before actually I use this push method, I would like to print the array as it is and see what is happening. Let me go to the terminal here. And here let me write down here node space array hyphen demo dot js. Okay, so the array got printed before pushing an element into this existing array. Now I want to push an element into this existing array. How to do that? A dot push, and here in this I would like to push some element. Let's say let me add some element like 4. Okay, A dot push. Then I would like to, before pushing, the array will be like this. After pushing, how the array will be there? Let's see. With 4 should be added at the end of this array. 9157 comma 4 should come here. Let's see whether it is happening or not. You see, 4 got added to the end of the array. One more element got added to the existing array, that is 4. So this is how we need to use push. Okay, push will add the element to the end of the array. Now we have another thing known as pop. Okay, next one is pop. So the last element of the array will be removed. Okay, so here I'll say dot pop. You don't have to pass anything. To pop, you don't have to pass anything, because automatically whatever the last element is there, that will be removed by the pop. Okay, so before popping, the value will be like this, 9157. After popping, it will be 915 only. 7 will be removed. Okay, 7 will be removed. Let's clear this and let me run this to see. You see, before popping, the last element of the array 9157 are there. After popping, only 3 elements came. 9157 came. 915 came. Sorry. Okay. Now next one. Then unshift. Okay. Unshift means add to start. Okay. Unshift means add to start. And before unshift, I can explain about the shift remove from start. Okay, if you want to remove something from the start, you see what are the elements using push you added at the end of the array. What are the elements you removed from the last element from the array, that is using push and pop, right? But what if you want to add an element in the beginning of the array and remove the first element of the array? For that, you have to use shift and unshift. Okay, shift and unshift. Shift for removing from the start. Starting element of the array can be removed with the help of shift. Okay, a dot shift. Okay, shift will remove from the start, guys. Okay, shift will remove from the start. So this will remove from the start, that is before shift 9157 will be printed. After shift, okay, this 9 won't be there, 157 will be remaining. Okay, let's see. Let me run this to see what is happening. You see, before shift 9157 is there. After shift, the first element that is 9 is not there. Only 157 are there, right? Only 157 are there. That's what is the thing. Unshift. Another method we can use with arrays is unshift. Unshift means you can add the element in the beginning of the array. Okay, so let me add 4 in the beginning of the array. So for unshift, you have to give the element that you want to add to the array, that too in the beginning of the array. So let's see. You see, the 4 has been added in the beginning of the array with the help of unshift. This is how the first 4 methods, that is push, pop, unshift, and shift. Okay, if you want to add the element at the end of the array, as a last element of the array, push. Okay, pop, remove the last element of the array. Then unshift, or shift, remove from the start. Unshift, add to the start. Okay, like that 4 methods have demonstrated already. Next few methods we have are includes. Check whether this particular element is available in the array or not. Okay, so includes is the next one. Okay, the include will either return true or false, right? Generally, so a dot, so here remove all this stuff and simply say a dot includes. A dot includes. Here if I say 5, is 5 available in this array? Yes, 5 is available in this array. So let's say let b is equal to, a dot includes, and here I'll say b. Okay, so what will be printed? Let's see. You see true got printed because 5 is available in this array, in this list of items in this array, in this array elements 5 is available. So includes will return true and true will be stored into this b, and when you print b, true will be printed. Okay, next one is includes is completed. Then we'll go with the index of. Okay, then we'll go with the includes is completed case, and we'll go with the index of the next method, or I'll give a negative case of this includes. For what if I give 4 here? 4 is not available in this array, so false should be printed here. If I run this, false should be printed because 4 is not available as an element in this array. This is how we have to use includes. Then, so till here we are done. Now few more methods are remaining. Next method is index of method. We can find we can find the index of a particular element in this array. Index of. Okay, dot index of. So index of, give a particular element. Let's say I would like to give 5 here as an 5 as an element. What is the index of this element 5? 0. First element is at 0 index. 1, then 2. 2 should be the index. So if I say let b is equal to here and print the value of the b should have the index value, that is 2, which is the index of this element 5 in this particular array. So let me run this to see whether 2 is getting printed or not. Okay, this is how we can use index of method to find the index of the particular element. Then we can use join, convert array to string. Okay, if you use join, it will convert the array to the string, guys. Okay, so this also will convert to the string, and join also will convert it to the string, convert an array to the string. Let's try it out. Okay, so join, convert an array to string. So here you can have some examples are also there, guys. Okay, I've already got some examples here. You see join, how to use join. You can use some kind of symbol like while joining. Okay, so here what I mean to say here is, for example, here a dot join. You can say a dot join with which symbol you want to join. Okay, either you can give some space also. Okay, you can give some space, or if you want to give a symbol, you can give a symbol like this. Anything is fine. Okay, so all these elements of this array will be joined together by separating with this hyphen when printed. Okay, if you print this, you will understand. Okay, like this 9, this arrow, 1 again arrow, 5 again arrow, then 7. Okay, 9157. Then clear. You can also give some space here. If you don't want arrow, you can give space, 9 space, 1 space, 5 space, 7. Okay, if you want some other item like plus symbol should be there, let's assume 9 plus 1 plus 5 plus 7. Okay, so like this. Then we have something known as toString, guys. It will simply convert this array elements into the string, guys. Okay, into a single string item. So apart from join, we also have a dot toString we can use. ToString, and it will simply convert this array elements into a string. Okay, convert array into a string. Okay, if you want to convert an array into the string, you have to use toString. Okay, 9 comma 1 comma 5 comma 7. Okay, so before converting, if I print a, the array will be printed. Okay, after converting the array into the string will be printed. Okay, you can clearly see the difference now. You see, the array is printed. The array elements got converted into string and printed here. Okay, so like that. That is uh, that is toString. Okay, then we have something known as slice and concat, and all those things are there. If next one is for now, these things are completed, guys, and we have few more items. That is slice is there. So if you want to slice, okay, like you slice a mango, okay, piece of mango you want to slice, right? Similarly, you can slice elements from this array. For example, I want to give more elements here, 4 comma 8 comma 2 comma 6. Okay, like this I'll give. I want to slice this. Okay, this entire array I want to slice into a different thing. Okay, so before slicing, if I print a, what is getting printed? Okay, so this entire array will be printed. Then I want to slice it. A dot slice. I want to take a slice of this, and here I need to give. Here you see the information about the slice is also coming. Start number, end number. Okay. Here I have to give the beginning index. Okay. The start is a beginning index. End is a ending index. Okay. Here I'll give something like 2, or otherwise 3, 3 comma 8 I want to give. Let's see what will happen. And the resultant I'll just store into let b here. Let b is equal to, and then print B. Okay, what will happen? How it will get sliced? Okay, this is a beginning index. 3 is a beginning index. Okay, including begin. This is called as including beginning index. 0, 1, 2, 3. This is including. That is starting from 7. Okay, the index of this 7 is 3. So it starts with index 3. That is 7 element 7, which is at the index 0, 1, 2, 3. It starts. Then after that, 8. 8 is not the including ending index. It's an ending index, but it's not including. It is excluding. If you write 8 here, you have to consider that as 7 only. In terms of index, okay, you have to, because 8 is an excluding index, so up to 7 index only it is there, okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means 7 to 6. Okay, 7, 4, 8, 2, 6 will be printed here. Okay, let's see what is happening. You see, 7, 4, 8, 2, 6. So first array, before slicing the array, the entire elements of the array got printed. Then after slicing the array, you see 7, 4, 8, 2, 6 got printed. Okay, 7, 4, 8, 2, 6 got printed after slicing the array, as I mentioned. What if I give it 6? Then in this case, what will happen? 6 means excluding index is 6. So including index is 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means 7, 4, 8 should be sliced. Only 7, 4, 8 should be sliced. Okay. That is slice. Then concat. Concat means merging the arrays. Okay. So if you have two arrays and if you want to merge it, for example, in one of the array, 9157 are there, and let b is equal to, if I have another array where 4, 4, 8, 2, 6 are there. Okay. There are 4 more elements in this array. Now I want to concat, and I want to merge these two arrays. Then what I can do? Let c is equal to a dot concat b. Okay. A dot concat b, and then here I'll just try to print the C. What will happen? This two arrays will be concatenated, and the resultant value will be there. Let's see how the output will come. You see, 9157, 4826. The two arrays got merged into single array and got printed here. Okay. So concat can be used for merging the arrays. And the last one that I'm going to cover as part of this part one of this methods of the arrays is isArray method. Okay. IsArray method. It will check whether this particular thing is an array or not. Okay. Okay, if this particular A is an array or not, A or B is an array or not, like that if you want to find out. Anyhow, it is an array, right? So A dot is array method, right? It is there or not? Okay, is this method available? This method is, okay, sorry. I have to write in a different manner. I should not be writing with the array name. I have to write array dot is array, okay? Array dot is array, and circular brackets give A. Give this A, okay? Is this A is an array or not? Like this you have to write. Array dot is array, like this you have to write. You see, true. Yes, it is an array. What if I give some 8 here, and then now 8 is not an array, right? So in this case, false should come. Let's say false is also coming or not. You see, false is coming. Okay. If it is an array, if I simply put square brackets here, it's going to be an array. Now again, true will come. See, true will come. Okay. So like that, guys, whether it is an array or not, okay, whatever the variable that you have defined using the let keyword is an array or not, this particular method will find out. So guys, so beginner methods of the JavaScript which can work, which you can use for working with arrays, I have covered in this particular session. There are many other things I need to cover. So this is a part one, guys. Okay, this is a part one of the arrays that I have covered in this session, and I have a few more things. Okay, I'll be covering few more methods in the upcoming sessions. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is arrow functions. So let's get started. What exactly are arrow functions? The topic for this session is arrow functions. You see, why I'm covering this, before explaining what exactly are arrow functions in JavaScript, okay, before explaining that, you need to understand why I'm covering this particular topic here. If you remember, in the last session, I covered part one methods that we can use with arrays. Okay, what are the different methods? There are a lot of methods that you can use with arrays. And I didn't cover the entire methods that you can use with arrays. Rather, I covered only few basic methods that you can use with arrays as part of the part one. What about the part 2 and part 3? I didn't cover that for you. The reason behind that is to understand the remaining methods that you can use with arrays, we need to have the knowledge of these arrow functions. Without having the knowledge of these arrow functions, you cannot understand how to use other methods with these arrays. Okay. The part 2 and part 3 methods that you can use with arrays, you cannot understand. So before going to that array methods, part 2 and part 3 topics, you need to understand the arrow functions. And to understand these arrow functions, you should have the knowledge of these functions that I have covered in one of the previous sessions here. The traditional functions, okay? Here, when I said functions means it's traditional functions. How do you write the traditional functions? So these are arrow functions, right? These are arrow functions. Otherwise, okay, just let me do one thing. These are arrow functions, okay? I'll just moving these arrow functions to the right side here. These are arrow functions, and here I'll be writing the traditional functions. I'll just write traditional functions. Okay, what is the difference between the arrow functions and traditional functions? Traditional functions are, kind of lengthy in code, whereas arrow functions are shortcut or short representation, shortcut syntax for this traditional functions. You don't have to write so many lines of code. In a single line, you can complete an arrow function. Okay, so I'll show you one example. If I want to add two numbers, I want to create a function which can add two numbers. I can write like this function, add two numbers, and the circular bracket starting of the function, ending of the function, and here you can have any number of parameters like this, and here you can write the code, right? Here you can write the code, return a plus b or whatever it may be. Okay, this is a traditional function. The similar one, okay, this is a traditional function, right? I can create a shortcut representation, shortcut syntax for this traditional function, or shortcut way of writing this traditional function in a single line with the help of something known as arrow functions. Okay, how? Here, what is the name of the function? Add two numbers. First, I need to create something known as, I have to use a let keyword for declaring this function. Here, I'll not be using the function keyword. I'll be using the let keyword that I generally use for declaring the variables and all those stuff, right? Objects and variables, etc., right? The same let or const you can use for creating this function here. What is the name of the function? Add two numbers is the name of the function. You don't have to write circular brackets and all those stuff. Just give the name of the function here after the let keyword. If you want to convert this traditional function into the arrow function, first you have to write the let keyword or const keyword followed by the name of the function here without circular brackets, and say is equal to, and after that you have to write the circular bracket, and inside circular bracket what is there? Parameters are there, a comma b. Okay, a comma b parameters are there. After that, what I have to do? After that, I have to write, I don't have to write this like, in multiple lines. I can complete this. Now, these are the parameters of this particular function. Just write like this, greater than symbol, sorry, is equal to greater than symbol. And here we have the starting of the function, ending of the function, right? You can write like this in a single line only. You don't have to write in multiple line. Curly braces. Inside the curly brace, what is there? Here written a plus b is there, right? I'll just write a plus b. That's it. That's enough. You don't have to write more than that. Okay. You can write like this, a plus b or something. You can write like this. Okay, so this is a format, guys. This is a format. These things are optional. If only one line is there, these curly braces are also optional. You can simply write a plus b. This is enough. This is how you can convert this traditional function into a arrow function like this. Okay, you can see now you can convert. You see here one, two, three lines along with spaces. Five lines are taking here only one line. Here, how do you call this function? The same way. Add two numbers and I'll pass 5 comma 4 5 comma 4 like this. I'll call the function, and this function will return use some the addition of this a plus b, that is 5 plus 5 will go into a and 4 will go into b when I call this function, and 5 plus 4 is a 9. That will be returned back to the function calling statement that I'll store into something known as a result or r, whatever it may be. And then if I say console dot log of r means the result 9 will be printed in the output. Okay, you need to call this function. Similarly, how to call this arrow functions? The same way, guys. Okay, the traditional way that you call this traditional function, the same way you will call this arrow functions also. But only the difference here is this traditional function is in multiple lines, whereas arrow function is only in single line. How to call this function? Again, the same thing. Let r result, whatever you want, right? Add two numbers. Okay, numbers and circular bracket. I need to call this function like 4 comma 3 or 4 comma 3 or whatever it may be. 4 will go into a and 3 will go into b, and 4 plus 3, that is 7, will be returned and stored into this will be returned back to the function calling statement and will be stored into this r. And then you can write console dot log of r. Here 7 will be printed in the output. Same way, these two lines are same, but here traditional function has been converted into arrow function. Multiple lines of the function got converted into single function here, single line. Okay, with the arrow functions. Shortcut syntax will be there. Okay, here traditional function has lot of lines of code to be written, but here you can write in a single line. Okay, fine. So a lot of things are there for you to understand about the arrow functions. Okay, that I'm going to cover practically in this session. So I also have some notes with me. I'll be using that notes as a reference and explain you all the concepts about the around the arrow functions for you. Hope you got the understanding of the concept. So here I'll open the arrow functions related reference notes here. Shorter syntax. Okay. The traditional function has good number of lines, but if you want a shorter syntax, you can go with the arrow function. Okay. The same function represented like this. Here const or let can be used here, and the name of the function can be used here is equal to the parameters. Okay. Like this, and the calculation, the whatever the result you want. Okay, what the function need to return, that you can write here. Okay, whatever the function want to return, that expression you can write here, the function will return that. So like that, many things are there, guys. Okay, a lot of examples are there here. I'm going to start with simple examples first, and then we'll go for the detailed ones. Okay, so here I'll just write arrow functions.js. Okay, so one JavaScript file I created for demonstrating the arrow functions for you. First, I'll write it traditional function. Function add to numbers is the name of the functions, and traditional function will have circular brackets followed by the function name. Starting of the function will be starting with the curly brace, and ending of the function with the ending curly brace. And here I'll be writing add to numbers, right? Here I'll be writing, like this. Parameters I'll give first. Okay. You can have any number, 0 or any number of parameters here, like a and b are the parameters here. And the function need to write like this, a plus b. The result of this a plus b can be written here. Okay. Now how to call this function? The name of the function, and inside the circular brackets I need to give the arguments. Okay. These are the parameters. I need to pass the arguments like 5 comma 4. Okay. So when 5 will go into A and 4 will go into B, and 5 plus 4 will become 9, and that 9 will be returned to the function calling statement. The returned value I'll be storing into R result or something, and then would like to print R. Then if I run this code, node space, if I run this code, node space arrow hyphen functions dot demo functions dot js, sorry, dot js. If I run this code, what will happen? This function calling statement will call the function and pass 5 into a and 4 into b. This is a traditional function. You already have the knowledge of this. A plus b will become 5 plus 4. That is result is 9. The 9 will be returned back by the function to the function calling statement. That returned value will be stored into the variable and printed here. Okay. So 9 should be printed in the output. You see 9 got printed in the output. Now what I'll do here is I'll keep these two lines as it is. I'll not change any of this. Fifth and sixth lines I'll not change. This function, traditional function, I'll write shortcut syntax for that using the arrow functions. I'll write the shortcut syntax. Arrow functions are the in JavaScript offer a shorter syntax for writing functions. Okay. Shortcut way I'll write the functions. This function I'll write in a shortcut way using this thing. So how to convert this traditional function into shortcut function? First, I need to use a keyword like lit or const, and then I need to give the name of the function here without circular brackets. Then is equal to. After is equal to, I need to give the parameters, circular brackets, surrounded parameters I'll give here. After that, I just need to write greater than, sorry, is equal to greater than. And then here, I can also write like this, okay, curly braces. And here, I can copy this statement and paste it here. That's it. This is how you can convert this traditional function into a arrow function. Can you see the difference here? Let here function keyword is not used. In traditional function, we use a function keyword to create a function, and the function name will be immediately followed by circular brackets with parameters and starting of the function. Remaining everything is here, curly brace and everything is there. But only the thing here is here function keyword won't be there, let keyword will be there. The name of the function will be given here like a variable is equal to, then what are the number of parameters surrounded by circular brackets should be given. And then here we need to give is equal to greater than symbol, and the remaining part need to be written in a single line. Okay. Now this one is not required. You can remove this and run this code. Again, you got the same output. This how you can convert a traditional function into a arrow function, which has a shorter syntax. Okay, shorter syntax compared to the traditional functions. In a single line, you can create a function. Now, when you have only one statement is there, then you can remove this curly braces here. Remove this curly braces here. You cannot use a return keyword, guys. When you anyhow by default it will understand. Okay, by default it can understand you are returning the result of this a plus b. So curly braces can be removed when multiple statements are not there, and you don't even have to write the return statement because automatically a plus b will return the sum of this a and b will be returned back to the function calling statement here. You see, this is how simple you can make it more better. Okay. So if I run this again, I got the same output. I don't have a return keyword. I don't have curly braces like that. Fine. Now what if I don't have any parameters here? What if I don't have any parameters here? What I will do here? Here I'll write something like this, uh, console.log hello. When you call this, I'll just print hello here. That's it. Okay. This particular statement is not returning anything, but it is printing hello text. When you call this function, I'll change the name of the function here. Uh, say hello. Say hello. Okay. I'll just simply say hello here. I'll simply say hello. When I say hello, I just need to call this function, right? Say hello function. Okay. So here I don't have to pass any arguments here because zero parameters are there. And what will happen? I don't have to store into something or something, as simple as this. You see, this is a function calling statement which is calling this function. When you call this function, the code inside the function will be executed. That is console.log hello will be running and hello will be printed in the output. You see, hello got printed in the output. Fine. And there is a possibility that this particular function can have one parameter. Okay, let's say a is there, and I just need to print the value of the variable a here. Okay, I just need to print the value of this variable a here. So how to do this? I just need to pass some value here, like say hello of 5 or something. 5 will go into this variable a parameter, and the 5 will be printed here. Okay, you see 5 got printed here as it is. Simple. Okay, and if you simply write a also, what will happen? If you write a here, what will happen in this case? The say hello function will be called and 5 will be passed to the a, and 5 will be returned back to the function calling statement. Here you have to write something like this. Let r is equal to or result is equal to console.log sorry, let me write it again. Console.log r. console.log r clear, clear, and then you see 5 got printed. Okay, here what happened? I'm calling the function calling statement, and then 5's argument is passed to the single parameter, and that is nothing but 5 will be written back to the function calling statement. Here only is means 5 will be written back to the function calling statement that is stored into R, and then same 5 got printed. What if I say a asterisk a? Then what will happen? In this case, what will happen, guys? 5 will pass it to a, 5 is a 25, 25 will be written back to the function calling statement, and R will be, when you print R, 25 will be printed. Okay, you can do anything. You can do anything. And of course, here, if only one parameter is there, you don't even have to write the circular brackets. When you have either zero parameters or multiple more than one parameter, you can write circular brackets. You can write like this also. You can write like this also. Okay. So now run this, the same output you will get 25 you got, okay? Without circular brackets, you also you got. If there is only one parameter, you don't even have to mention circular brackets. You can make this arrow function as simple as possible, okay? Here are some notes for your reference, guys, okay? This traditional function has been converted like this. And then, no parameters, you can write like this. One parameter, you can write like this, already explained. Multiple parameters, you can write like this, okay? So then, if you have multiple statements, okay, then you can write like this with curly braces. You can write. I told you, right? If you have multiple statements, okay, in the traditional function, if you have multiple statements, then again, I'll just change it back to a comma b here. Two parameters are there, and here, what I will do here is I'll say let c is equal to a plus b. Some two statements I want to write. After that, I want to write let c is equal to a plus b. Okay, let c is equal to a plus b. I need to, you see here errors are coming. The reason behind that is when you have multiple statements here, return c, I'll say. Here, how many statements are there? Two statements. Only one statement, not a problem. But if multiple statements are there, what I have to do? I have to surround this with curly braces like this. Okay, I have to surround this with curly braces like this. Okay, then it will be okay. Return c means it will return back here. I would say 5 comma 4. Then what will happen if you have multiple statements in this arrow function? Then you have to write curly braces. Otherwise, only one statement is there. You don't need curly braces, and even you don't need a return keyword also. I just mentioned right already. Okay, so like this, lot of varieties are there here. So you'll get the answer as 9. Okay, 5 plus 4, 9. So hope guys you got some idea about this arrow functions in JavaScript. Okay, how to convert the traditional function. If you want to save the number of lines and write a shorter syntax, the people tend to write, they don't want to create a detailed function sometimes. Okay, they want to write these functions in a single line. So this is the way. Okay, you convert the traditional functions into the arrow functions, and there are other way. All the other things I covered here. Okay, the important things I covered here. When you have to use a curly braces, when you don't need the circular brackets, when you have only one parameter, you don't need circular brackets. Whether you put it or not doesn't matter. When you have zero parameters, circular brackets are required. When more than one parameter are there, compulsory circular brackets are required. And here return statement is not required. X plus y will be automatically returned back to the function calling statement. If you write the return keyword, again you have to surround with curly braces and all. Okay, so a lot of things are there, guys. Okay, a lot of things are there regarding the arrow functions, and this is how you need to understand the arrow functions for this point of time. Okay, so since you have now understood what are arrow functions, now you can understand the other methods of the arrays. Okay, the other methods that you can use with arrays as part of part 2 and part 3. I may be using this arrow functions concepts. If you don't understand these arrow functions, you will not be understanding the part 2 and part 3 methods that we can use with arrays in the next sessions. Okay, so go with these arrow functions first and then go to the next sessions. Okay, accordingly. So guys, that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is reversing the elements in an array. How to reverse the elements in an array. It's very simple, guys. In JavaScript, if you want to reverse the elements in an array, that is the first element should go into the last position, and the element which is there in the last position should come to the first position in the array. If that is the requirement, there's simple method or function known as reverse. So let me practically demonstrate. I'll be using this particular thing as a reference though. I'll just opening this. I'll open this in the browser meanwhile, and I'll just immediately switch to this editor where I'm going to create a new file and say reverse array elements.js. And here I would like to create an array. Let whatever it may be, AR is equal to, or let numbers is equal to square bracket. And okay, let me provide the list of the items 9, 5, 1, 7. Okay. Here, if I print this, okay, if I print these numbers before reversing the elements in the array, if I print these numbers, you will see 9517 will be printed here. Node, I'll run the program, array hyphen elements dot .js 9517. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to reverse the numbers in the array. That is, numbers is the array, and say reverse. And the return type of this reverse is again an array. Okay. So here let reversed numbers is equal to, okay, like this you write. Now print, okay, now print reversed numbers. Okay. So by using this reverse method, I'm going to reverse the elements in this array. And after reversing the elements in this array, this reverse method will return an array as a return type that I'm storing here into the reversed numbers array, and I'm printing that. Okay, so let's run this and see that before reversing, okay, in the original array numbers 9517 are there. After reversing, 7159 came. Okay, the last number came to the first and first number went to the last. Okay, 7159. So hope guys you understood how to reverse the elements in an array. And just for reference, these are the nodes, array dot reference. Okay, the array name dot reverse, and this will return you another array that if you print out, you will find the list of elements in the array will be in the reversed format, where the last element will come to the first position and first element will go to the last position, and so on. Okay. Okay. So yeah, then fine. So this is like, the same logic I have written, right? And clearly see here numbers dot reverse, and you got the reverse array. Fine. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is using for each method with arrays. We can use for each method for iterating through all the elements of an array. Apart from using other traditional ways of iterating elements of the arrays, okay, like using for of loop with arrays and all those stuff, we can also use for each method also for iterating each and every element of the array. Okay, how that is possible and all I'm going to cover. But before I get started here with this for each method demonstration with arrays, should have the knowledge of arrow functions, because in this session I'm going to use arrow functions. Without this knowledge of arrow functions, which I have covered in the previous sessions, you'll not be able to understand this session properly. So get the knowledge of this arrow functions from my previous session and then come to this session, so that you will understand how to use for each method to iterate through all the elements of this array. So let's get started. So here I have some notes which I'll be using for reference guys. Let me open the notes. There are several methods we can use with arrays, right? I have opened the notes. Meanwhile, I'll go here. There are several methods we can use with arrays. One of such kind of methods we can use with arrays are for each method. Okay. For each is one of the methods we can use with arrays. Okay. It's kind of popular with arrays. Now, how the for each method will work. So what I will do with the help of this for each method here is, inside this for each, I will call a function. Okay. Inside this for each, I'll call a what? Function. For each and every element of the array, I'll be calling the function. How to use the for each with arrays? How to use for each method with arrays? In arrays, lot of elements will be there. If I want to use for each for iterating through all the elements of the arrays, for every element that I want to iterate, I'll call a function which is mentioned inside the for each. And this function that I'm mentioning, that I'm going to mention inside this for each method, I'm going to represent in the form of arrow. Okay, arrow function in the format of arrow functions. If you already have the knowledge of this arrow functions, which I covered in the previous sessions, you'll understand. Okay, the shortcut representation of the functions can be possible with the help of arrow functions. Such kind of arrow functions structure I'm going to provide. Here you can either provide normal function or arrow functions, anything is fine, but I'm going to use arrow functions inside this for each method to iterate through each and every element of the array. For each and every element of the array, this for each method will call this function or arrow function that mean a number of times. Okay, for this element, arrow function will be called. For another element, arrow function will be called. Another function, the same arrow function will be called. Like that, for each and every element in this array, this arrow function or function will be called by this for each method. Okay. So let's see how we can use this for each method to iterate through all the elements of the array, and what else we can use with the for each method and all I'm going to cover in this session. For practical demonstration, I'm going to launch Visual Studio Code. Here, I'll just close this and create a new file. Let's say for each.js. Okay. Just give some random name. That's okay. And here, let me create a array. Let AR is equal to square bracket. I'll give a list of elements here. Let's say 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. Okay. Like this, different elements in the array are there. Now, what I'm going to do here is I want to iterate and print each and every element of this array. For that, I want to take the help of the for each method. How to take the help of the for each method? For taking the help of the for each method, I have to say AR, which is array, dot for each. So inside this for each, I will be creating a, okay, inside this for each, I'll be calling a function. Okay, for each and element of this array, I'm going to call a function. How? I'm going to use this, instead of normal functions, I'm going to use arrow functions inside this for each. Okay, how to use arrow functions? Let's say for each and every element, let's say E stands for element. Okay, E or X, anything you can give. E, like this we generally write, right? Uh, so what we can do here, okay, this arrow function, I'm going to say for each and every element of this thing, I'm going to write like this. For example, mm, console.log E. Okay, console.log E. Like this I'll write. Okay, for each and every element, I'm going to print this element. Okay, so this function will be called. Okay, this function will be called here. Function will be called here multiple times. Okay, and every time it calls this function, so what will happen? Let's see. Okay, so for reference, I'll also see here whatever the code that I have written for reference. Okay, this what is the thing, right? So for each and every element in this array, I'm going to print it. Let's see what will happen. Since only one statement is there, I don't have to provide curly braces or something here. Okay, curly brace or something is not required, but let's run this and see what is happening. For each.js, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 got printed. It's working fine, right? For each and every element in this array, we are calling this function where we are printing that E, that is single parameter, that is nothing but the element of the array. Like this, we have to use for each method. If you know the concept of the arrow functions, you'll understand what I have written here. Okay. So now you will say, I'll just write console.log and then put some separation point here. Now let's say I don't want to print each and every element of the array. Rather, I want to sum all the elements of this array. Okay. How to write the function? How to write this? How to use this for each method? Okay. For each method will help you in iterating through all the elements of this array. But here the logic will differ. How the logic will differ? I'll write the logic like this. E means E or X, whatever you want to write, you can write, guys. A, B, C, D, anything you can write. Okay, I'm writing X here. X is nothing but each and every element of, for each and every element of the array. Okay, here X means in this array, for each and every element of this array, what I want to do? I want to calculate something like this. I want to calculate something like this. I just want to say let sum is equal to 0, I'll say, okay. Initial value of the sum is 0. Now I'll say sum plus equal to, that is, okay, uh, compound assignment operator. That is sum is equal to sum plus what? X. This each and every element of the array will be added, okay. So here initial value of the sum is 0. Sum is equal to sum plus x means sum plus x. Sum is 0. 0 plus x is what? 1. The first time in this particular function is called, arrow function is called, the value of the x is 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Sum will become 1. And now the for each will call the function again with the second element. X is 2 here. Sum is equal to sum plus x. That is sum is 1 now. Earlier value of the sum is 1. 1 plus 2. That is sum will become 3. Right? Then sum is 3 now. Then sum is equal to sum plus 3 plus 3. Sum will become 6. Okay? 6 plus 4, 10. 10 plus 5, 15. Okay? Now here, if I print the value of sum, okay, after operating here for each and every element of this array and adding all the values to this sum, whose initial value was 0, but after adding all this, the sum will become 15. 15 should be printed here. I'll say clear and then run this code. You see, 15 got printed. Like this, you can use for each method with the arrays. Okay, you can use for each method with the arrays. Inside this for each method, you have to write the function that you need to call for each and every element of this array. And instead of writing a traditional function which will take a lot of lines, I'm writing the arrow function which I have covered in one of the previous session. Okay, if you know how to use arrow function, this line you can understand. This line also will understand. Okay, fine. So hope guys you understood how to use for each method in JavaScript. So fine, let's not go in depth like this. For each and every element in this array, you can print it, or you can also summing numbers in an array. The same code I have written, right? That is there also here, and many other things are possible, guys. For this point of time, whatever the examples I have given, okay, this one and this one are enough. Okay, this one and this one are enough. How did I show you? How did I practically demonstrate this and explain this for each method with arrays? This much of knowledge, if you can have or understand, okay, if you understand whatever the topic I have explained so far about this for each method with arrays, then you are good to go. Okay, you don't have to think too much. This much is enough. So that's all for this session, guys. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is using map method with arrays. What is the topic for this session? How to use map method. This map method, which is one of the important methods that we can use with arrays. With arrays, there are a lot of methods we can use while dealing with arrays. One of such kind of important methods is map method. What map method will do with arrays? Using map method, we can create a new array. Okay? Using this map method, which we generally use with arrays, we can create a new array by calling the function for each and every element in the array. How we are going to create a new array out of the existing array? So using this map method, we can create a new array out of an existing array by calling the function for each and every element in the array. Without modifying the original elements of the array, we can create a new array with the help of this map method by calling the function for each and every element in the array. That's what the map method is all about. So let me explain this practically so that you will understand how to use map method to create a new array out of an existing array by calling the function for each and every element of an existing array. To practically demonstrate this, I'll open the Visual Studio Code editor and here create a new JavaScript file map-demo.js. Like this I'll create, and here I'm going to create an array. Let or const you can use, that's okay. And then create an array. Array is equal to 9 comma 5 comma 1 comma 7. Okay, this is the original array. Now what I'm going to do with this original array, this is the existing or original array. Now I want to use the map method with this array to create a new array of this existing array by calling the function for each and every element of this existing array. I'll be calling the function for, okay, 9, I'll be calling the function for 5, I'll be calling the function for 1, and I'll be calling the function for 7. In order to create a new array with the help of map function with arrays, I need to call the function for each and every element of this existing elements of the array. Okay. So without any delay, let's start using the map method. I'll simply say array dot map. Sorry, here there is a mistake. That is the reason the code is not getting highlighted. Right click here and rename this as .js case. Okay, S was missing. That's what I'm just thinking, like why the code is not getting highlighted. Here .js is missing properly. I didn't give that. So I'll take this array and say map. Okay. Now inside this map, I'm going to call function for each and every element of the array. So instead of creating a traditional function, I'm going to create a arrow function that I have covered in one of the previous sessions. Without understanding this arrow functions, you cannot understand how to use this arrow functions in map method. So the easiest way of you calling the functions inside the map is by using the arrow methods. How to use arrow method? So here for each and every element in this array, let's say E or something, you can do anything. Okay. You already know the how to create the arrow functions, right? This is an example of the arrow function that we can use for each and every element in this array. I'm going to call the function and I'll just say E multiplied by E. Okay. So here map function will create a new array out of this array by calling this function for each and every element of the array. So for each and every element, for example, for the first element 9, E is 9, right? 9 nines are 81. Okay. In the new array, 81 will be the 9 nines are 81 will be the first element. Okay. So here new AR, new array. Okay. New array like this. And if I print the original array, if I print the let me print the after creating this new array using the map. Okay, here by calling a function for each and every element of the array with the help of arrow functions, and here if I print AR, the original array elements will be printed, that is 919517 will be printed. So if I say node map hyphen demo dot js, you see 9517 got printed. Now what I will do next is I'll just print the new array that is created with the help of the map function by calling the function for each and every element of this array. Whenever each and every element of the array, a function is called in the new array, element into element, that is 9 9s are 81 will be in the first position, 5 5s are 25 will be in the second element of the new array, 1 1 1s are 1 only will be there, 7 7s are 49 will be there. Okay, let's see what will happen this time. You see 9 9s are 81 in the new array. Without modifying the original array elements, we are creating a new array with the help of map function. Okay, and we are getting this kind of thing, 81 25 149. Okay, so guys, this is how we need to use map method with arrays in JavaScript. Okay, so also we have this notes for reference, guys. You can also go through the notes of, you see, a lot of things may be possible with the help of map method with arrays, and whatever I covered for you is a straightforward example of how to do this. So there are a lot of other things. You can refer to these notes as a reference. Okay, we can go through these notes as a reference to cross-check that we have understood about the map. Map method in JavaScript is used to create a new array by applying or by calling a function for each and every element of an existing array. It will not modify the original array elements. Okay, it will create a new array by using the map method. Inside the map method, I'm going to call function for each and every element of the array, original array, and whatever the operation I mentioned, that will happen. Okay, so here if you see, Here I'm multiplying by 2. In the new array, 1 to the 2 will be there. Okay. The new array 2 to the 4 will be there. 3 to the 6 will be there. 4 to the 8 will be there in the new array. Okay. Extracting properties from objects. Okay. You can also do like this, You can create an array where each and every element of the array is an object. Okay. Each and every element of an array is an object containing list of properties. That is keys and values will be there in the properties. So you can create a new array. Okay, you can create a new array where the new array will contain all the names of this users in this particular array. Like that you can do, guys. Okay, so let me show you how to work on this. Okay, this is an additional example anyhow. Here I'll create a new file map-demo-2.js, and here I'm going to create an array where in that array, this is an array, right? Square brackets will be there in the array. In the array, I'm going to create okay, in the array I'm going to create array elements which contains each and every element is an object. You see, you can create arrays like this where you can create an array where the item is nothing but an object. Array element is nothing but the object. In this object, there will be multiple elements, right? There will be multiple elements. You can create the objects like this. You see, ID colon 1 name is equal to like that. You can create ID colon 1. Okay. Then next property name colon, let's say Arun, in single quotes or double quotes you can give, that's okay, because string literal in JavaScript may surround the text by single quotes or double quotes, that's okay. Then ID colon 2, then name colon, let's say Varun, then ID colon 3 comma name colon Tarun, and so on. We can create this array containing individual elements of the array are nothing but objects. Now I want to create a new array by extracting some properties of this particular object elements of this array. How to do that? ar.map, and in the map I'm going to call the function e colon or x colon, whatever you want to say. Then okay, how to get this things from the array? Okay, like you can say like this, and for each and every element of the array, for example, this is an array. Okay, this is an element. Okay, your first object is an element. I want to get the name of that. Okay, I just want to get the names or only IDs otherwise. Okay, like this. E dot ID means 1, 2, 3 are the IDs, right? A new array will be created. Let okay, new AR1 is equal to, now if I print this new AR1, all IDs of this objects of this array will be printed. Just let me do one thing. Let me clear this and simply say node map hyphen demo hyphen 2.js. You see 1, 2, 3. Now what if I want to create a new array? Let new AR2, new array 2, AR dot map of, I want to get the name properties. For that e dot name I'll say, and then console.log and new AR2. You see, the name properties of this objects elements of this array are getting printed. Arun, Varun, Tarun got printed. Okay, so we can do more using this map method in arrays. We can do even more, guys, but this much is more than enough for now. You don't have to go deep. Okay, this much of knowledge of how to use map method to create a new array by calling a function for each and every element of the original array without modifying the original elements of an array. We are going to create a new array. That is possible in JavaScript with the map method with arrays in JavaScript. So hope guys you understood how to use map method with arrays in JavaScript. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is using filter method with arrays. So let's get started. Till now, I covered how to use other methods like for each method with arrays, how to use map method with arrays, and how to use other different methods, general methods with arrays. But now the time has come for me to explain how to use one of the important methods of an array known as filter method. Okay. So let's get started with this session. That is how to use filter methods or how to use filter method with arrays. Filter method with arrays in JavaScript, how to use. So now let's understand this one of the important methods that we can use with arrays, that is filter method, what it can do. Using filter method, we can create a new array, okay, by calling a function for each and every element of an existing or original array. Okay, you already have an array having a list of elements. For each and every element of that array, you will be calling a function. And for whatever the element which passes the condition, okay, when this particular function is called for each and every element of the array, when a particular condition is passed while calling a function for this each and every element of the array, that elements will be there in this newly created array. Okay, we can create a new array by calling a function for each and every element of an original array, where the new array will contain the list of elements from the original array which have qualified for the qualified or passed for the given condition. Okay, this is what you need to understand about the filter method with arrays in JavaScript. We can create new array containing a list of elements which have been qualified for the given condition. How this will happen? From an original array, a list of elements which have qualified with the for the given condition will be assigned to this newly created array. This process is possible by calling a function for each and every element of an original array and checking whether that particular element is qualified for the given condition or getting passed for the given condition. So to understand it in more better way, let me explain that in a practical way. So for that, I'll launch the Visual Studio Code and explain about this filter method for you. So this session, this concept you will not understand, you will not, if you don't have the knowledge of the arrow functions, okay? If you don't understand this filter method, just go back guys and understand the arrow functions that I've covered. Without that, you cannot understand this session. So here I'm going to write the code that is filter -demo.js, I'll say. And in this, I'm going to create an array. Let AR is equal to, I'll just give some items here, 1, comma, elements of the array, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, these are some 10 elements are there in the array. Now I want to only, now let's say I want to create a new array from by using the elements of this existing array by calling the function for each and every element of the array and only take the elements which are passing the given condition. What if I want to create a new array containing the, okay, containing the even numbers or even numbers in this particular array elements in this case, okay? ar.filter I'll write, ar.filter, sorry, filter I'll write, put a semicolon here, and here I'll write the code, okay? How to write the code here? So I want to have only the elements from this array, okay, which are qualifying the condition. I'll just write like this. Then I'll write a condition that is E modulus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, this is a condition I am saying. Whatever the element that I'm trying to add into the newly created array, okay, whatever the element that I want to add into the newly created array should qualify this. Okay, that means this particular function will be, this arrow function will be called for each and every element of this array. First one will be called, right? So E is 1, 1 percentile 2 is 1, not 0. So this is false. So 1 will not be added to the newly created array. Here new AR I'll say is equal to, okay. Now in the newly created array 1 won't be there, but when coming to the 2, when the function is called for second time, E will be having 2. 2 percentile 2 is remainder is 0, which is correct. So 2 will be added to the newly array. Okay, like that 3 remainder won't come as 0, so 3 will not be there in the list. 4 percentile 2 will give the remainder as 0. Like that, only the even numbers will be added to the new array. So here I'll write here like console.log AR which will print the original array or existing array. Let me write this original, run the code from the filter hyphen demo.js. You see, all the elements of the original array got printed. Now I am going to write like this. Console.log new array. Okay. Now here, let me clear this. First, origin existing array elements will be printed. After that, new array, which contains only the even numbers of this array will be printed. Okay. So let's write here node filter hyphen demo.js. You see, only the even numbers of this array. Here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 are not there in this list. Okay. In this array. Only the even numbers are there, okay? Because of this condition. If you want the odd numbers, you can say opposite one, not equal to 0. Like that you have to say. You'll get the odd numbers into the newly created array. Like that, using this filter, we can filter out some elements from the original array and have only the elements which will qualify this condition. That's how the filter will work generally, guys, okay? So here we have some notes also, guys, okay? If you want to learn more about this filter method, how to use filter method with arrays, here have captured some notes, okay? So let's go and so I can do few more. I can give one few more examples, guys. I'll just write on here filter hyphen demo two otherwise the demo two dot js. Okay, here I'll create an array. Let emp is equal to and here array I'll create. In this array I'll create multiple objects. So let's say some 5 objects I am creating here. Name colon. Okay, Arun I'll say. Then I'll write comma, salary, colon, okay? Salary, colon, just write some dummy numbers, okay? So let's say, let's give it like 99, okay? Then name, colon, Varun, and then here, comma, salary, colon. I can just move it into the next line if you want to see in a proper way. Let's say it's 58, okay? Then I'll go here, just name, colon, I'll give Tarun, comma, salary, colon, 15. Okay, then name, colon, Vijay, Vijay, salary, colon, 25. Here, name, last object, name, colon, uh, okay, name, colon, Rana, comma, salary, colon, 9. Okay, like this I create an object, I create an array which whose elements are objects. Okay, now in this case, I want to filter out the employees who are working for the company whose salary based on the salary condition. I want to create a new array. How to do that? For that, I'll say new emp is equal to, here I'll write the code, guys. Okay, that is emp dot, okay, this array dot filter, I'll say array dot filter, and here I'll write down uh, for each and every object of this array, e is nothing but each and every object, this arrow function I'm creating. Then I'll write down e dot, okay, e dot salary should be greater than, okay, should be greater than 15. Should be greater than 15. So Tarun will not come, Rana will not come. Vijay, Arun, Varun will come, okay, because Vijay's salary is more than 15 and Arun's salary is more than 15, Varun's salary is more than 15. But here, Tarun's salary is 15, which is not greater than 15, and Rana's salary is less than 15. So they will not be considered. Only 3 objects will be considered. 3 object elements in the array will be considered in the new employee array. Out of these 5 objects, which are individual elements of this array, we only will have 3 Okay, 3. Let's see. Let's print it out. New emp. Let me print like this and just clear this out. And then node filter hyphen demo hyphen 2 dot js. If I write, you see only 3 objects will be there as elements. Okay, because here based on the salary condition, we are getting this new array created. Okay, so this is how, okay, this is how we need to use the filter method, guys. This is how we need to use the filter method. And you can see filtering the even numbers from the original array elements and filtering the objects in an array based on some object property conditions. All those things I covered. Okay. So many other things you can do, guys. Okay. For now, this much is more than enough for you to understand about this filter method and how to use a filter method with arrays. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is using find method with arrays. So let's get started. The previous sessions I covered a lot of other methods, that is other important methods that we can use with arrays like for each, map, filter. Followed by that, I'm going to cover one more method, that is find method. Okay. So let's get started with this. So here we have some notes for reference, guys. Let me open these notes. See? So what is this find method and all those stuff I'm going to cover now. Okay. So what is this find method? How to use this find method? Everything I'm going to cover in this session. Find method is one of the important methods in JavaScript that we can use with arrays. And what does it do? You see, the will call find method will call function for each and every element in the array until until it finds an element which satisfies its condition. Okay, so find method will call function for each and every element in the array until it finds an element in the array which satisfies its condition. Only one element. Okay, so if no element is found with the given condition, even though this find method calls a function for each and every element in the array and no particular element will satisfy this particular condition given in the find method, in that situation, the find method will return you undefined. Okay, since no element is found, undefined. If an element is found which satisfies this condition, then that particular element will be returned by this find method. So let me show you how to use this find method now. After practical demonstration, you'll understand what exactly is find method. Okay, let me open this your studio code and let me delete all this stuff, guys. Okay, or let's keep it for now. Okay, so here find hyphen demo dot js. Now here I'll create a array like ar. Here I'll give some array elements, that is 9 comma 5 comma 1 comma 7. Okay, 6 comma 4 comma 2 comma 8. These are few elements I have given. Okay, randomly I have given some elements, guys. Randomly I have given some elements in this array. Now using the find method, I would like to find any particular element which satisfies a condition. Okay, so I'll write like this: ar, that is array dot find. Okay, I need to use this find method, find predefined method with arrays in JavaScript like this. And here I need to call the function. Okay, find method will call a function for each and every element in the array until a element satisfying the given condition in the find method is found. Okay, so for that, E stands for element, or you can give X or whatever you want. Okay, this you know, right? Arrow functions. In one of the previous sessions, I covered what are arrow functions. Okay, so without understanding the arrow functions, you'll not understand what I'm doing here inside the find method. Here I'm going to call the function with the help of find method. E arrow function. Then I would like to give a condition, that is E greater than 6. E greater than 6 is a condition. What will happen in this case? This find method will go through each and every element in this array. First it will take what? 9. Okay. First it will take 9. 9. 9 is greater than 6, which is true. Since it has found one element which is greater than 6, it will not check with the remaining elements. Okay. Until it finds the first element in the array which satisfies this particular condition, till then it will happen. Okay. Or if I put this 9 almost somewhere here, let's say. In this case, what will happen? First it will take 5. Okay, 5. In this kind of example, it will take 5. 5 is greater than 6 is false. So the find method will call another function for the second element. E is 1 now. 1 greater than 6 is again false. Which is this condition is not getting satisfied. And again, for the third element, 7. 7 greater than 6 is true. In this case, the condition is satisfied. It will return the element which is satisfying this particular condition. I'll just write let okay, let some x is equal to, okay, just give something. Then here console.log. If I say x, what will be printed in the x? The element, the first element from the left side of the array to the right side of the array one by one when it calls the function, whichever the element that comes first in this array elements and satisfies this condition will be returned and stored into this variable. Okay. Now run this code and see what is happening. Let me go and open the new terminal and just run this code node space find hyphen demo dot js. You see 7, as I mentioned 7. For example, if I give 16 here, okay, in this case, what will happen? None of these elements will satisfy this particular condition, okay? 5 greater than 16 false, 1 greater than 16 false, 7 greater than 16 false, 6 greater than 16 false, 4 greater than 16 false, 9 greater than 16 is also false, 2 greater than 16 is false, 8 greater than 16 is also false. In that kind of situations, what will happen? None of these elements. So, if I run this code, undefined should be printed, okay? No element is satisfying, no element in the array is satisfying this particular condition, so undefined will be returned. Fine. Next. Next thing here is, next thing here is, okay. So I can also use this find with, if the elements of this array are objects, okay. In that case, what will happen? Let me give you that example. Find hyphen demo hyphen 2, I'll say, dot js. And here, let ar, and let's create an array. Each and every element of the array is like, like this, I'll say. And here, multiple objects. I'll just give something like name, or, like this, I'll give name. Let's say Arun. Okay. Experience, colon. Let's say 18. Here, name, colon, Varun. Here, comma, experience, experience, colon. Let's give it as a 5, or let's say 15 otherwise. I'll just present, okay, I'll just take it to the new line so that you can understand the code easily if this is there here, okay? Then let's move it here, let's move it here, let's move it here. Then name, colon, Tarun, experience, colon, let's say 13, name, colon, Vijay, comma, experience, like 1 year, name, colon, Rana, comma, experience, colon, 4. Like this, I'll give the items like this, okay? Now, in this kind of situation, if I say ar dot find, circular brackets, in this, each and every element of the array, or you can give A, B, C, E, X, anything is fine, guys. There's no difference in that. Each and every element here is mentioned as X. First element is the object, right? In that object, I'll say X dot experience is less than 3. Okay? Is less than 3, or less than 5, let's say. Okay? Is less than 5. If you give like this, then let E is equal to, then console.log E. I'll print the value of E. What will happen in this case? First object will be taken. In that first object, X is first object, that is name or on experience 18. X dot experience 18 less than 5 is false. So this condition is not satisfied. The function will be called for the next element, that this one. Okay. So, okay. Experience 15 less than 5 is false. Then next one, 13 less than 5 is false. Next one, 1 less than 5 is true. So this object name Vijay Experience 1 will be stored into this E, and when you print E, this will be printed. Okay. The last element, no chance has come. The first found element only will be given the preference. Run this. Let me run -2.js. You see, name Vijay, experience 1. Okay. So the first found element in the array, which is satisfying this condition, will be there. Okay. Fine. So this is how the find method will work in JavaScript when used with arrays. And let's go and look into this reference notes, where we have some other information also. That is, you need to understand the difference between find and filter. Okay. In the previous session, I explained about this filter method, how to use filter method with arrays, how the find method is different from the filter method when used with arrays. Filter method will return all the elements of the array which are satisfying this condition, not just first found element. But find will only find the first matching element. No matter how many elements are matching this particular condition, find will only find the first one. Okay, here only 15 got found in this example, you see n greater than 10. Okay. 5 and 10 are not getting satisfied. 5 and 10 are not getting satisfied. Only 5 and 15 and 20 are getting satisfied. But find is only finding the first element which is satisfying the condition. Remaining it's not worrying about. Whereas filter is returning you all the elements in the array which are satisfying this particular condition. So it's returning in the form of an array. Okay. So hope guys you understood how to use find method with arrays. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is using sort method with arrays in JavaScript. So let's begin. Coming to the sort method. Sort method is sort method is one of the predefined methods in JavaScript, and it is one of the important methods we can use with arrays in JavaScript. Okay. So in the previous sessions, I covered few predefined methods that we can use with arrays, right? Like for each, map, filter, find. All these are important predefined methods we can use with arrays. Similarly, we have one more method which is also important, and this can be used with arrays in JavaScript. That method is none other than this sort method. What does this sort method will do? Using sort method, okay, using sort method, we can sort the elements in the array. Okay, in the given array, we can sort the elements in the given array. How? How the elements in the array will be sorted? How the elements in the array will be sorted? So using sort method, we can sort the elements in the array by default in ascending order. Okay, by default the elements in the array will be sorted in which order? Ascending order. So let me show you how to use this sort predefined method in the JavaScript with arrays to sort the elements in the array in ascending order. And you need to know that this ascending order sorting of the sort method will work properly with strings. Okay, strings, but not with numbers. With numbers, we have to do some tweaking. Okay, we have to tweak it a bit. Tweak this sort method a bit. We cannot directly use a sort method to sort the numbers in the array. If the elements of the array are in numerical format, we cannot directly sort them in ascending order with the sort method. Okay, we have to tweak the logic a bit. But coming to the, if the elements of the array are in string type, text type and all those stuff, then the elements of the array will be sorted by default in ascending order using this sort predefined method in JavaScript. Okay, so let me demonstrate this for you. For that, I'll switch to this editor, Visual Studio Code editor, where I'll create a new JavaScript file here. That is, I'll say sort demo -1 dot js, I'll say, and here I'll create an array. Let ar is equal to, I'll give the square bracket, and here all the elements of the array I'll just give like this. Okay, let's say Varun, then Arun, then Tarun, then Vijay, then okay, Rana. So Here elements of the array are in which format? Individual elements of the array are on string format. Okay. So sort will by default will work with this array elements in sorting them in ascending order. Okay. You don't have to tweak the logic anything. AR dot sort. If you simply have to say like this, AR dot sort. That's it. Things will be done. This sort method will sort the elements in the array and it will return you. Okay. It will return you an array. Okay. As a, you see, after sorting the elements of the array, it will return you the elements of the this array in array format again. Okay. I'll say sorted AR. Okay. The array elements which are sorted in ascending order will be returned here in the form of an array. So if I print this sorted AR, let's see what is happening. Okay. Let me run this code. Note original array is having the elements like this: Varun, Arun, Tarun, Vijay, Rana. After sorting in ascending order, how the elements are sorted in this returned array. Let's see. Okay. Sort hyphen demo hyphen PNE. Okay, instead of ONE, PNE came. That's okay. Just go with this .js. You see what came? First Arun came. Here Arun is in second position, but it came to the first because ascending order wise A comes first, right? Then R came. Q, R, S, T, U, V, like that. Okay. V, A, V, I. You see elements got sorted in ascending order here, right? If the elements of the array are in string format, it is possible. Now, if I create one more JavaScript file, sort hyphen demo hyphen 2, I'll say .js. And here, let me create an array. And this array, I'll give the numbers case, okay? Like 9, comma, 5, comma, 1, comma, 7, 6, 2, 8, 4, like this. I'm giving the elements. And can I sort this elements in this numerical elements in this array in ascending order by directly using like this? Let's see. Okay. SAR. Okay. Let's see whether it is sorting properly or not. I'll just print SAR here. Node. It is not going to work as you expect, guys. Okay. It is not going to work as you expect because this is not going to work as you expect because, these elements are numerical numbers. Sort method will not work properly with this. Okay. By default, it will not work properly. You see, 1, 2, 4, 5, it works properly in this example. In this example, it is working fine, guys, but, it may not work actually. So let's give some more things like 3 comma. Okay, let's run this again. Let's clear this and run. Okay, looks like it is working fine. So yeah, I'll go and take another example. Otherwise, I'll go and take another example here with numbers. Okay, sometimes by luck or something, it may work like that, but ultimately, it may not sort the elements in proper format. Okay, I'll take one example, 10 comma 1 comma 5, right? Only three elements I'll put here. 10 comma 1 comma 5. Let's see what will happen in this case. How it's going to work. Let's see. Clear. 110.5. Is it correct? 110.5 is correct? No, right? You see, it's not working properly. Okay. When I give a proper, you see, 10 should go to the end, but 10 is there in between. Is it sorting the numbers in the array in ascending order? No. Okay. Some other order is coming. So how to sort the numbers in ascending order? By directly, we cannot do that. We have to tweak the logic of the sort method here by adding a function. Okay. By adding a function, there is an arrow function. What type of arrow function? We generally call that as compare function. Okay. Compare arrow function. Okay. What is compare arrow function? It looks like this. Okay. So the compare arrow function will look something like this. Okay. So if we add that, okay, let's add that compare arrow function. How to add the compare arrow function? Two parameters we have to give: a comma b. What will happen? A comma b means this 10 will go into a, 1 will go into b. At a time, two elements. Okay. Here you create the arrow function and here write down a minus b. Okay. This is what is called as an arrow function. This is what is called as a compare arrow function. Okay. Compare function in JavaScript. Okay. If you use this, what will happen? The sort method is going to work properly with the numbers. After including this inside the sort method, if you include this compare function, it's going to sort. How? How means 10 will go into A, 1 will go into B. Okay, and 10 minus 1, positive number or negative number? It is positive number. 10 minus 1 is 9, which is a positive number. If it is a positive number, it is going to work like this. Okay, if it is a positive number, if it is a positive number, B comes before A. Okay, if it is a positive number, B comes before A. B is what? B is 1. A is what? 10. So 1 will go before, 1 will come forward, and 10 will go here. Okay, that's how the comparison is done. Then 1 and 10 will be there here. Okay, the first position 1 will be there, then 10 will be there. Okay, then next two more elements here, 10 and 5 are there. Okay, 10 will go here, 5 will go here. Okay, 10 and 5, 10 and 5. Then 10 minus 5, 10 minus 5. What is 10 minus 5? 10 minus 5 is 5, positive number. Again, if it is positive number, the swapping will happen, right? 10 will go to the, okay, then 10 minus 5, right? So first B will come, then A will come. Simple words. Okay, B is nothing but 5, right? B will come first. That means here 1 will be there, here 5 will be there, here 10 will be there. That's what is the explanation I can give, guys. Okay, that's what is the explanation I can give here. How this compare function will generally work, and because of you include this compare function, you'll get a proper output this time. You see, 1 5 10 came. So I'll give you one more example here. Let's say, what if I give you something like, uh, 3 comma 4 comma, okay, 11 comma, like this, some different elements if I am giving. So without compare function, what is happening? If I remove the compare function and just run this, you see 1 10 11 3 4 5 is coming. Okay, this is not correct. Okay, it's not ascending the elements in ascending order. So what I need to do here is I need to write the compare function. Okay, like this, I need to put the compare function here, give two parameters a comma b, and simply say a minus b. If you want the elements of this numerical elements of the array to be sorted in ascending order, then you have to give a minus b here. Okay, so a is 3 and b is 4. 3 minus 4 is what? Minus 1, which is a negative number. If it is negative number, a will be the first position, b in the second position. That is 3 and 4 will be as it is. Then next, 4 and 11. Okay, 4 and a will 4 will come to a, 11 will come to b. Then a minus b is how much? 4 minus 11. 4 minus 11 is a negative number. That means a is a will come first, b will come second. If it is a negative number, a will come first, b will come next. That is 4 and 11 as it is. Then 11 and 10. Here a will be 11, b will be 10. 11 minus 10 is positive number. If it is positive number, B will go into the first position, A will go into the second position. That means 10 will go here, 11 will come here. Okay. Now 11 and 1. 11 and 1. 11 minus 1 is positive number. If it is positive number, okay, if it is positive number, what will happen? B will go into the first position, A will come to the second position. That means 1 will go here and 11 will come here. Okay. 1 will go here and 11 will come here. Okay. Then 11 and 5. Here 11, 5. 11 minus 5 is again positive number. Then B will come to this position, A will come to this position. So 5 will go here and 11 will come here. Okay, like that, guys, like that. Okay. So let's see what is happening here and whether it is working or not. Let's see. You see 1, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11. Okay. So like that, guys. Okay, positive and negative kind of stuff we have to see. Fine. So what if the result is 0? If they both are equal, then order stays the same. No changing will happen. Okay. If it is resulting in a negative number, then this will happen. A comes before B. If it is resulting in a positive number, B. Using this logic, this compare function, when you provide insert sort method, will sort the elements of the numerical elements of the array in ascending order. What if I want to sort these array elements in descending order? In descending order, you have to change the logic a bit. Okay. B minus A you have to give. Okay. B minus A you have to give. Then the elements of this array will be sorted in descending order. Okay, instead of A minus B, you have to give B minus A. You see, 11, 10, 5, 4, 3, 1. Okay, then the elements of the array will be, using this compare function, we can sort the elements of the array in descending order. Okay, so by default, sort method is used to sort the elements of the array in ascending order for the string text. Okay, but if you are sorting the number, you'll get some case situations, you'll not get the proper logic, proper output. Okay, then you have to use compare functions And using compare functions, we can using this type of compare function where a minus b kind of ascending numerical sort will happen. B minus A, if you say in the same compare function, descending numerical sort will happen. You can also do that with the help of objects and all those stuff. Anything, anywhere you can do. So here, custom sorting is there for objects. Let's go and work on this. Another example here, sort hyphen demo hyphen 3 dot JS. Okay. Then let AR is equal to square bracket, put a semicolon here, and here write down the objects, comma. Okay. Let's write some objects here. Okay. This is good. Then here I'll give like a name colon Arun, comma, exp colon, exp colon. I'll give it as 18. Okay. Then name colon. I'll give Varun. And then I'll give the exp colon 1. Then name colon Tarun. I'll give exp experience colon 10. Name colon Vijay, comma, exp exp colon 7. Like that I gave something. And let's see if I do something like AR dot sort the elements. Each and every element of this array is an object now. I want to sort the elements of the array natural way. Uh, I cannot give a natural way, right? How to sort this element of the. Okay, we have to give something here. How to give that something? For something, I'll just give A comma B. Okay, I want to sort the elements of this array using this. With the name means it's easy, right? Okay, with the name means it is kind of easy. That is, I can do something like this: A or E dot name. If I write like this, what will happen? Using this E dot name, the sorting will happen, right? Using this E dot name, that is Arun Varun Tarun string, right? It should happen. Okay. So here, let's see whether it is happening or not. SAR, after sorting, what is happening? Let's see. Console.log SAR, and let me run this code. 3.js. You see, Arun Varun Tarun Vijay. Okay. Arun Varun Tarun. Same thing it came. So what if I just change the order a bit? Let's take this to the end. Okay. Let's change this to an end. See what will happen this time. I'm changing the order and see whether it's sorting the elements in order or not. Let's see. You see, are the elements of the array got sorted? Let's see. No, they are not getting sorted, right? So what I have to do here, I'll remove this and see what is happening. First of all, without giving anything, what is happening? Let's see. The same thing is happening. The sort is not happening. How to overcome this problem? How to overcome this problem in the object array? So here E means each and every object. So comparison of the objects is not happening. Then here I have to give something, guys. Okay, I should not be giving like this. I should give something as uh, uh, have to go with this kind of process like A comma B. This for that. For strings, how to do it? I'm just thinking. Okay, how to sort this with help of strings, right? How to sort this with help of name. Okay, let's. So here A comma B. Okay, there's something known as local compare. Okay, using that we are doing that. Okay, so here we have to still take A comma B and then do it. Okay, since it is an array, right? So objects in the object format it is there. So we have to do like this, or is there any other way? I think that's the thing. A dot name dot local compare b dot name. Okay, I have to compare these two things. Okay, then what is going to done. So here I will give a comma b, then I'll give something like a dot name, a dot names. Okay, a dot name, that is Varun, dot a dot name. The next one we have is dot local compare, dot dot local compare. Okay, b dot name. Right, like this. So Arun, Varun and Tarun will be compared like that. It will happen if this. Okay, for objects we have to do like this. Okay, then clear and red. Let's run this and see whether we are getting the output or not. Clear. No, we are getting an error. Local compare is not a function. Then why it is giving me this local compare here? If you want to sort in descending order, local compare is not working, right? Okay, I'll just give me a second. Type error. Locally. Okay, some extra e is there which is missing. Okay, locally compare. Okay, locally compare. Now it should work, I think so. Now it's working. Arun, Tarun, Varun, Vijay. Okay, now it's working. According to the names, it's sorting the things in ascending order. Right? Then what about with experience and all? How to do this? Again, a comma b and a dot okay, exp minus b dot exp. Like this we have to keep. Okay, the same process. A dot ex here locally compare is not required. A dot exp minus b dot exp. If it is resulting in positive number, then order will change. If it is resulting in negative number, the same order will be there. Okay. So here first 1 is there, then 10 is there, then 7 is there, 18 is there. So 1, 7, 10, 18 should come. Let's see whether it is happening or not. You see 1, 7, 10, 18 is coming. Okay. It's sorting in using the numbers. Okay. So the same logic, compare function technique we have used here. Okay. For strings inside the object, if the elements of the object, elements of the array are objects, then for comparing the strings, you have to use locally compare. Okay. For numbers, you can use the same logic. Any other things are there? Let's see in this with compare function, custom sorting. This is fine. The next one, locally compare is here actually. Okay. If you want to ignore the case to lowercase, you can convert and then do it. Okay. You see, we'll go with this locally compare to lowercase and all those stuff in the string methods. Okay. I didn't cover the string methods, right? So this won't be easy for you to understand what is locally compared to lowercase and all. Fine. So that's all, guys. That's all. You got some idea, right? How to use the sort method with arrays in JavaScript to sort the elements of the array in ascending order. In case of numbers, we have to use compare function, okay, to get the things done. So with this, we are done with this session. Okay, that is how to use a sort predefined method with arrays in JavaScript for sorting the elements in ascending and descending orders. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. So let's get started. So in one of the previous sessions, I explained you about the arrays, which are single dimensional arrays here. Now I'm going to cover about the two-dimensional arrays. So what are two-dimensional arrays? What are two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript? Okay. So in JavaScript, there are no inbuilt two-dimensional arrays. In JavaScript, we don't have any inbuilt two-dimensional arrays, but we can create two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. Though by default or by inbuilt, there are no two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript, but still we can create two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. That's the first thing that you need to know. So, for example, if I want to create a single dimensional array, As I covered in the previous session, I'll be creating like this. Let AR is equal to, we have to create a square bracket, and inside square bracket, I'll be giving the elements of the array like this. This single dimensional array. This is nothing but a single dimensional array in JavaScript. Single dimensional array in JavaScript will look something like this. Now, what about the two-dimensional array? What exactly is a two-dimensional array theoretically? Theoretically, if I have to explain, two-dimensional array is an array of single dimensional arrays. Okay, what are two-dimensional arrays? Two-dimensional arrays is nothing but an array of single dimensional arrays. That means here in a single dimensional array, if you see the elements, these individual elements are not arrays. They are normal numerical numbers or some kind of normal elements here. They are not arrays. Here 9 is not an array. It's a normal element. Here 5 is also not an array. It's a normal number. 1 is also not an array. It's a normal number. 7 is also not an array. It's a normal number. Now coming to the two-dimensional array, it is an array of single dimensional arrays. Two-dimensional array is an array of single dimensional arrays. That means, so this is a, let's assume that this is a two-dimensional array. Let's assume that, okay, let's assume that this is a two-dimensional array. And here, let's assume that there are 3 slots in this two-dimensional array. In this two-dimensional array, there are 1, 2, 3 slots. Okay, in that the first element is not a normal element like here explained like 9. It's not like 9. Here element is nothing but a single dimensional array having some elements like this. Okay, again, what about this one? The second slot is also containing the element as a single dimensional array. Okay, so like this, I'll create a single dimensional array. Now third one is also a single dimensional array. So here in a normal single dimensional array, each and every element which is separated by comma here is nothing but a normal element. 9 is a normal element, it's not an array. 5 is a normal element, it's not an array. 1 is a normal element, it's not an array. 7 is a normal element, it's not an array. But coming to the two-dimensional arrays, here let's say this is array. In this, each and every element of the array is again a single dimensional array. So this is called as a two-dimensional array. Some people will represent two-dimensional arrays like this. Okay, some people will represent the two-dimensional arrays like this, where each and every element of the array is a single dimensional array. So this is called as a two-dimensional array. Okay, what if instead of drawing this two-dimensional array, the main two-dimensional array in a horizontal manner, what if I draw this in a vertical manner like this? Vertically. Okay, instead of horizontal like this, I'm drawing it vertically, where here how many slots are there? 1, 2, 3. So these, let's say this is the first slot, this is the second slot, and this is the third slot. Okay, so here I have the drawing or representation of the two-dimensional array is like this for conceptual wise. Okay, concept wise. But a lot of people also represent this 2D array like this. Instead of horizontally drawing this two-dimensional array having 3 slots here, we are vertically providing the slots. Here slots are provided horizontally. The same diagram twisted here with a vertical order of two-dimensional array. Here each and every element of the two-dimensional array is not a normal element like 9 or something. Rather it is a, okay, this first element of this 2D array is a single dimensional array having 4 elements. Okay, the second array, second single dimensional array of this 2D array also having, let's say, 4 elements. Assume that. Now third single dimensional array of this two-dimensional array is also having, is nothing but a single, this is the first single dimensional array, second single dimensional array, third single dimensional array. So how many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array? There are 3 single dimensional arrays in this two-dimensional array, right? The 2D array is an array of single dimensional arrays where each and every single dimensional array will have multiple elements. So like this, guys, like this, you can represent like this, or you can represent in this tabular format like rows and columns you can represent. Okay, clear now? So here you need to understand that, assume that this is 0th index. Okay, the 2D array main array is having the 0th index. Here 1, here 2. Total 3 single dimensional arrays are there. In 2D array, totals 3 single dimensional arrays are there. 1, 2, 3. The first single dimensional array is having the index 0. Second single dimensional is having the index 1. Third single dimensional is having the index 2. In that, each and every single dimensional array, in the first single dimensional array, again, the individual elements will have the index like 0, 1, 2, 3. Second single dimensional array, which is having the index 1 in the main array, is individual elements of that second single dimensional array is having the index like 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. Okay. Here also 0, 1. Third single dimensional array having the index 2, its elements are having the indexes again like 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. Now what about this diagram? This is the first single dimensional array. This is the first single dimensional array, right? Which is having the index is 0. Okay. The first single dimensional array is having the index 0. Second single dimensional array is having the index 1. Third single dimensional array is having the index 2. In the first single dimensional array, the individual elements will also have the index as mentioned here like 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here also 0, 1, 2, 3, here also 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, remember like this. Now, how to create a two-dimensional array? Inbuilt, there is no two-dimensional array in JavaScript inbuilt. Okay, so you can understand more details here. I'll just copy these notes and open this here so that we can have the notes as a reference to understand the two-dimensional array and how to create that and how to access that. Okay, by default inbuilt there is no two-dimensional array, guys. Okay, two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript are essential arrays of arrays. They are useful, but JavaScript does not have built-in support for true multi-dimensional arrays like some other languages like Java or C Sharp. We have some 2D arrays, but we can simulate. Okay, though inbuilt 2D arrays are not there in the JavaScript, unlike Java or C Sharp languages, but in JavaScript you can simulate them using the nested arrays. You can simulate them using the nested arrays. How to simulate them using the nested means array inside the array, right? So first you create an array. In that individual elements you make them as, instead of individual elements you make them as single dimensional arrays. Okay, elements of this the outer array are nothing but the single dimensional arrays. Then this array will become a 2D array. Simple, right? So here we have to write like this. Let AR is equal to square bracket. In this, you create the array elements like this. Okay, first element is an array. Okay, then second element of this main array is an array again. Then third element of this array is also an array. Okay, like this, using this concept you can create a 2D array. For example, here 9 comma 5 comma 1 comma 7, here 6 comma 0 comma 8 comma 2, here 4 comma 9 comma 5 comma 3. Okay, how many are there? How many here each and every element of this array is nothing but a single dimensional array. Then we can call this as a 2D array. This is a two-dimensional array. This is a two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array. Okay, what is a two-dimensional array? If you represent the array like this, it is a two-dimensional array. Okay, this is a 2D array, guys. Okay, this is a 2D array. So let's go here and see. That is a two-dimensional array. Let AR is equal to like this. It is an array of single dimensional array. See, single dimensional array where multiple elements are there. Each and every element is not an array here, normal elements, but in 2D array, each and every element is an array, single dimensional array. Okay. So hope you got it right. So now let's practically. So what will happen if I create this 2D array like this? Let A is equal to the first array, which is having the index 0. Okay. Here it will be there 9, 5. This is the first array. In this 2D array, this is the first array 9, 5, 1, 7. By using this nesting concept in JavaScript, we can create a 2D array. But inbuilt, there are no arrays, no 2D arrays. We have normal arrays, but 2D arrays are not there by default in JavaScript, but we can nest them and create a 2D array like this. Okay. Then here 4, 9, 5, 3. Okay, like this. So if I want to access this array elements, if I want to access this 9, first I have to refer to the first single dimensional array where this 9 is available. This single dimensional array is having the index 0. In that, there are 4 elements. First element, which is 9, is having the index 0. So AR of 0, 0 I have to give. Like that, guys. Okay. If I want to access this 8, 8 is where? In the second single dimensional array, which is having the index 1, and first element, third element, first element, second element, third element is having the index 2. So AR of 1, 2, like that. Okay. Like that, we have to access the individual elements of this 2D array. And also we can use traditional for loop and for each loop. I mean, sorry, traditional for loop and for off loop, which is designed for arrays in JavaScript. So all this I'm going to demonstrate practically for you. So theoretical concepts are enough, right? What exactly are two-dimensional arrays and how to create the two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. I just showed you, right? So let me do one thing. Let me delete all these files. We don't need them. Let me delete them. Let me freshly create a new JavaScript file and say 2D arrays.js. Like this I'll create, and here I'll write let AR is equal to create a square bracket, and in this again use square brackets. Okay, here there are three single dimensional arrays in this 2D array, and each and every single dimensional array we have multiple elements, right? Like this. This is a 2D array. Okay, here what is a 2D array? Array which is containing the individual elements also as an array is called as a 2D array. So what I will do here is I'll write I want to access this array elements. I want to access this individual array elements. How to access the individual array elements? How to access the individual array elements? Console.log AR of square bracket. If I want access from the first element of this 2D array, which is a single dimensional array, this single dimensional array, if I want to refer, I have to give AR of 0. Then in that, if I want to access the first element, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0 here. Okay. What will be accessed? 9 will be accessible here. Okay. 9 will come here. Then console.log AR of, if I give 0 means first single dimensional array out of this 3, first single dimensional array. In that, if I give the 1, 1 means 0, 1, 5 will be accessible. Okay, then console.log AR of 0, AR of 0, 2 if I give, 0 is this one, 0, 1, 2. Okay, then we'll get 1. Console.log AR of 0, then here I'll give 3. Here I'll give 3. 0, in that 0, 1, 2, 3, 7. 7 will come here. Okay. Then next one, console.log AR of 1, 1, 0. AR of 1, 0 means this is 0, this is 1. Okay. In that 1, 0 means 6 will come. 1 means index 1. Second array will have the index 1. In that index 1, index 0 means 6. Okay. 6 will be accessible here. Okay. Then console.log AR of 1, 1. AR of 1, 1 means 0. This is 0. This is 1. In that 1, again 1 means 0 and 1. That is 8 will be accessible. Then console.log AR of 1, 2. That means here in this 0, 1, 2, right? 2 will come. Then console.log AR of 1, 1 means 0 and 1. That is second element of this two-dimensional array. In that, I want to access 3. 3 means 0, 1, 2, 3. Third index, 4. 4 is coming here. Okay. Then console.log AR of 2. 2 means 0, 1, 2. Index 2. This third single dimensional array. In that, if I give index 0 means it will take the first element, that is 8 will be accessible here. Okay. 8 will be accessed from the two-dimensional array. AR of 2, 2. And here if I give 1 means what will happen in this case? AR of 2 means 0, 1, 2. In that 2, 0, 1. 5 will come. Okay. 5 will come. Then console.log AR of 2, 2. If I give AR of 2, 2, what will come? 0, 1, 2. In that 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 will come. Then console.log AR of 2, 3. Third index, the third array. The third array, third index 0, 1, 2, 3. 9 will come. That's it. Like this, using this console print statements, we can access each and every element of this 2D array. Let's run this. In order to run this, guys, I think I need to just make it big. Node 2 hyphen d hyphen arrays.js. Okay, and press enter. You see, all the elements of the array should be printed. First one is 9, then 5, then 1, then 7. Okay, 9, 5, 1, 7. 9, 5, 17. Then 6824. 6824. Yes, 6824. Then last one, 8539. 8539. 8539 got printed. This is how we can access the individual elements of the array. Now I'll create one more file, 2 hyphen d hyphen arrays hyphen 2 dot js. I'll copy this code. I'll copy the same code and paste it here. I'll remove this print statements. Instead of that, I want to use a traditional for loop. So you already know how to, okay? So we can use traditional for loop first, okay? First, I want to show you how to use traditional for loop with this 2D arrays. For that, I'll use for let. How to do this? For let I is equal to 0, okay? I less than the size of the two dimensional. How many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array? There are 1, 2, 3. So I have to give size as 3. Then I plus plus. Okay. In that, I have to create a nested for loop. Okay. This outer for loop, I have to create a nested for loop like this. And in this nested for loop, I'll write let j is equal to 0, j less than. Here, how many elements are there in this individual single dimensional arrays? 4. I'll give 4 here. Semicolon j plus plus. And here, I'll simply write down console.log. Console.log. Here I'll write down AR square bracket, square bracket. In the first square bracket, I'll provide this I. In the second square bracket, I'll provide this J. Then what will happen in this case? Now, you see, for let I is equal to 0, index 0, 0 less than 3, which is true. Here 0. Index is 0, 0 less than 3 is true. We'll go inside this external for loop and we'll go into the internal for loop where J is equal to 0. Here now J is also 0. 0 is less than 4. Here 0, I is 0 and j is also 0. 0 less than 4 is true. We'll go inside this and it will print AR of 0, 0. What is AR of 0, 0? AR of 0 is this one. In that, first 0 means this 9. So 9 will be printed. 9 will be printed. After that, end of the inner for loop, j plus plus. J will become 1. 1 less than 4 is true. We'll go inside that. I is still 0. AR of 0, 1. What is AR of 0, 1? This is 0. In that 1 means 0, 1. That is 5. Then j plus plus. J will become 2. 2 less than 4. True again. Come down. I is still 0. J is 2. 0, 2. What is AR of 0, 2? AR of 0 is this one. In the 2 is 0, 1, 2. That is 1. The next one. J will become 3. 3 less than 4 is still true. Go inside. AR of I is still 0. J is 3. AR of 0, 3 is 0. In that 0, 1, 2, 3. 7. 7 will come. Then J will become 4 here. 4 less than 4 is false. Will come out of the inner for loop. And from here, in ending of the external for loop, we'll go to I plus plus. I will become 1 now. 1 less than 3 is 2. Again, we'll go inside for second time. Then j is equal to 0. J got reset from 4 to 0 now. 0 less than 4. True again. Go inside. AR of 1, 0. 1, 0. What is AR of 1, 0? AR of 1 is this one. In that, 0 is 6. So 6 will be printed. Then next one, j plus plus. J will become 1 less than 4. AR of 1, 1. AR of 1, 1. AR of 1, 1 is 8. 8 will be printed. Then next, j will become 2. 2 less than 4, which is true. Go inside. AR of 1, 2. This is 1. In that 0, 1, 2 is 2. Done. Then j plus plus j will become 3. 3 less than 4 is true. Come down here. AR of 1, 3. 1 is this one and 3 is 0, 1, 2, 3. 4 will be printed. Then j will become 4 here. 4 less than 4 is false. Will come out of this inner for loop. I plus plus I will become 2. 2 less than 3. True again. Go inside. J again will become 0 here. Then j is equal to 0. 0 less than 4. 0 less than 4. True. AR of 2, 0. I is 2. J is 0. 2, 0. 2, 0 means 2 means this one. 0, 1, 2. Okay. Third single dimensional array. In that 0 means 8. 8 will be printed. Then j will become 1. 1 less than 4 is true. Go inside. AR of 2, 1. 5 will be printed. Then 2. 2 less than 4 is true. Come down. AR of 2, 2. 2, 2 means this is 2. 0, 1, 2. 3 will be printed. Then 3. AR of 2, 3. This is correct only. 2, 3 means this is 2. In that 0, 1, 2, 3, 9. Last element. 9 will be printed. Then this will become 4. 4 less than 4 is false. Will come out of the inner for loop. Then I plus plus I will become 3 here. 3 less than 3 also false. External for loop also will come on outside. So all the elements of the array will be printed now. Okay. So let's go here and go to the terminal here and just write down new terminal and just write down node. Okay, just write down here node space 2 hyphen d hyphen arrays dot, sorry, hyphen 2 dot js. Run this. You see all the elements of the array got printed. 9517, 6824, 8539, 8539. All the elements of the 2D array got printed. But the problem here is I don't want the elements to be printed like this. Rather, I want the elements to be printed in this rows and columns because a lot of people will be printing the 2D arrays in the output in this format. So how to do this? How to do this? Okay. So for that, every time you print, we are going to the new line, right? We need to find out a way in JavaScript where we can stay in the same line. So what is the code we have in JavaScript where, you know, how to print and stay in same line in JavaScript. We have to find this. Okay. How to print and stay in same line in JavaScript. Okay. Do we have any kind of stuff here like so console.log is printing and going to new line, but I want to print in same line. So there is another way. Let's see. Process.standardout.write is kind of thing is there. Uh, then okay. So you have to write like this. Process.std or dot write off is one way they are saying. You have to use the write method here, or you can use this logic also. This logic is also fine, guys. Okay, this logic is also fine. So I also thought about this logic, or we can try this method also. Okay. So let's try this method and see what is happening. First of all, process dot standard output dot write. So here instead of this, I'll write process dot, sorry, process. It's not coming. Process. What is that? Process dot. I think this is there or not. I don't know, but let me try this. Is there process dot standard output dot write of this AR of I. Let's see what will happen here. So let's not worry about this. Let's comment this part and run this code to see what exactly the problems are coming. Then we'll see. You see, error is coming, invalid type or something is coming. So what I have to say, do to string I have to say. Okay, I have to convert this into string and then try this out. Okay. You see, all the elements are printing in a same line now. Okay. You see, if you want to print in the same line, there are multiple ways. This using logic also I can do, or I can use this JavaScript thing known as process.standardoutput.write if I do, and I have to convert the, if their numbers are there, I have to convert them into string to print. Write method will only print string. So here we can, write method cannot be used to print the numbers directly. The numbers you have to convert to string and print using the write method. Okay, that's one thing. Here of ij dot to string. Okay, this will print the things in the same. Okay, so all the elements got printed in same line, but you see this 9 5 no gaps are there in between this number. So what I can do here is I can use concatenation and give a space here. Okay, now run this and see what is happening. You see 9 space 5 space 1 space 7 space 6 space 8 space 2 space 4 space, everywhere space is coming. Now after the inner for loop I'll write the code like this. Okay, that is console.log. So I'll not print anything. Whenever this inner for loop completes the 4 iterations, that is after printing 9157, right? Before going to the external for loop, it will take you to the new line. Okay, it will not print anything, but it will take you to the new line because of console.log. Again, after printing 6824, again it will take you to the new line. Console.log will be executed and it will take you to the new line. Then again inner for loop will print 8539 and then console.log will go to the new line. Okay, so let's see what is happening. You see, now the array got printed in a rows and columns format. 951760824953, like this it got printed. So we have to tweak the logic a bit, guys, in order to print this two-dimensional array elements in a tabular kind of row column format. If you want to do that, I have to write this extra logic. Okay, instead of using console.log, process.stdout.write of something console.log. Okay, done. Now we can also do one thing, guys. That is, we can I'll just copy this and create one more file here. 2 hyphen d hyphen arrays hyphen 3.js I'll say, and here paste the array, and here instead of using the traditional for loop, Okay, and also in the traditional for loop, guys, here we are manually writing this three, right? Instead of three, how to find how many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array? For that, we have to give the array name. The 2D array name we have to give, dot length we have to give. So this will find how many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array. Then here, instead of giving 4, we can give air of square bracket, I'll say I. Air of I means the first iteration when I is equal to 0, air of I means air of 0 is this array. In this array, I want to find the length. Like this, we have to find the size. How many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array? In that individual single dimensional arrays, how many elements are there? I want to find. Okay. Now clear this and run this code. Still, you should get the same output. Okay. Either you can dynamically give. Okay. Either you can hard code this with some numbers like 3, 4, or you can find them using ar.length. Will find how many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array, and ar of I will find out how many elements are there in this in the first iteration when I is equal to 0. Ar of I, ar of 0 dot length means the first array how many elements are there. Okay. Then when the second iteration when ar of 1 will happen, here how many elements are there in this second single dimensional array. In ar of I dot length for third iteration when I is 2, in this array how many elements are there in this array, it will find it out. Okay, like this, guys, you have to understand. Then next thing, I will go here and instead of using the traditional for loop and all those stuff, I can use for off loop in JavaScript, where you can write like this. First write for, here write down let uh let's say let I of, okay, let I of AR. Okay, let I of AR or E of AR, whatever you want to write, you can write, guys. Okay, let R of AR. R means row or something. Okay, this is the first row, this is the second row, third row is the third single dimensional array, like that. Let R of AR for each and every row. Okay, then here in that, I have to write an inner for each loop again. Here I'll write let element of R. In that first row, what is the first element? 9 is the first element. Will be assigned here. And here I'll write down console.log E. Okay, here I'll print the element. Okay, that's it. This is how we can use for each loop. I already demonstrated, sorry, this is for off loop. I already demonstrated how to work with for off loop with the single dimensional arrays. But in case of two dimensional arrays, you have to write nested for off loops. Okay, this is external for off loop and internal for off loop. Where in the external for off loop, what is happening? Let R of AR means there are how many single dimensional arrays? 3. In that, what is the first one? 9517. That will be assigned to R. Will go inside this. Then for let E of R means in R what are there? 9517. That first element is what? 9. 9 will be assigned to E and go inside the inner for off loop, and E will be printed. That is 9 will be printed. Here 9 will be printed. Here 9 will be printed. After that, in the R, remaining elements 517 are there. In that, first element will be assigned and 5 will be printed here. Okay. Then in the R, two more elements are there. In that, first element is 1, 1 will be assigned and 1 will be printed. Then in the R, 7 is there. 7 will be assigned to E and 7 will be printed. Okay. The best loops that we can use with the arrays in JavaScript is for off loops. Instead of traditional for loops, we have to prefer using the for off loops. Then after that, after this 9517 are done, then R, no more elements will come out of the inner for off loop and external for off loop. This array is already over. This first element is already over. There are two more arrays in that. The first array 6824 will be assigned to R and will go inside. Let E of R means 6824, and the first element is 6. 6 will be printed here. Then remaining elements 8, 8 will be assigned to E, 8 will be printed here. Then 2, 4, in that first element 2 will be assigned, 2 will be printed. Then only one element, that is 4, 4 will be assigned to E and 4 will be printed. Then no more elements will come out of the inner for of loop. And end of this AR, okay, in this AR only one element, that is last element, that is single dimensional array, last single dimensional array is available, that will be assigned to R and come inside that. Let E of R. In the R, we have 8539. 8 will be first element, 8 will be assigned to E and 8 will be printed here. Then in the R, 539 is there. In the first element, 5 will be assigned and 5 will be printed here. Then R, two more elements, 3, 9, 3 will be assigned and 3 will be printed the first element. Then R, only one element, that element will be assigned and 9 will be printed here. Then no more elements will come out of the inner for off loop. And then external for off loop, AR, any other elements apart from these three elements we have? No. Will also come out of the external for off loop. Okay. Now clear this and run this code to see whether we can get the output. You see, all the elements are getting printed in a sequential manner, like, but I want to get it in a which order, like tabular format. What I have to do? Remember the format, right? What I have to write? Remember the format, right? We have already done this here, okay? Process dot std out dot write. We have to write, okay? So let's write this process dot is okay. It's not allowing me to write like that. Process std out. Okay, let me connect this here. Process dot std out dot. Okay, write like this. Now it is finding it out. Process.std out dot write, and in that write I'll just write e here. If I comment this part, how the e will be printed, all this 9517 till 9 will be printed in a single line without any space. Just see here what is going to happen. Okay, there is something that is write will not be able to print numbers. We have to convert that into the string. To string is the next thing we have to do. Okay, to string. Okay, now clear this and run it again. You see, now all the numbers of this 2D array are get printed in a single line without even spaces. I want to append spaces plus concatenation space I'll give, and here I'll write down. You see, with spaces it will come. Then next what I will do is after 9517 I want to go to the new line. Here I'll write console.log without any space. Okay, run this. You see, now they got printed in a tabular format, row and column format. Okay, clear guys? There are three rows. Each and every row is a single dimensional array in this 2D array, and in each and every row elements are there. Elements of the array are there. That E we have represented here. You can give anything. That's fine. So this is how, guys, this is how we need to work with 2D arrays in JavaScript. Okay. So 2D arrays are also important, guys. Whenever you are working with programs and all, 2D arrays are also important. So make sure that you all have the knowledge of 2D arrays apart from the single dimensional arrays. Okay. So with this, we are done with 2D arrays, guys. With this, we are done with the 2D arrays. So yeah. So that's all for this session, guys, where I have covered the two-dimensional arrays for you. You don't have to go for the 3D arrays and all. That much complexity is not required, guys. Maximum up to 2D arrays is more than enough in any programming language, even with JavaScript also, this much is enough. So any other things remaining about the arrays, I'm going to cover in the next session, or if no other things are remaining, I'll go with the next topic, okay? So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye.